And we are live. What's good, Josh? Man, DL saying, welcome. I really want to know podcast, man. How y'all feeling? Yeah, that's right. The summer's over, man. We back to the grind, y'all. We are back to the grind. I hope y'all are doing well. What's today? Tuesday, yeah. Happy Tuesday, guys. Happy Tuesdays. My daughter's second day of school. She's such a proud, happy little freshman doing her thing. It's like her last 4 years of school. It's like, oh, she's about to be a legit grown up. So really got to enjoy. I really have to enjoy these last 4 years. So hope you guys are doing well out there. Um, you know, man, we're focused on really trying to help, improve males out there. We want to stop the weirdo epidemic, man. We want to help these guys get out of their shell. Some of these young dudes I've talked to here recently were like, man, you don't know what it's like out here, man, you older, man. It's easier for you because you older. You dealing with the older women. And I'm here to tell you that is a bunch of BS, bro. For you guys out here dating, man, if you think it gets easier as you get older, you got another thing coming, man. Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed, man. So I mean, it's people think it's easier out there, bro. I don't know what they're talking about. Dr. B84 in the house. What's good, fam? Yo, what's good with you? We got Jack Black, young brother Jack Black in the building. Bro, I'm gonna hit you up, man. We gotta definitely get together, man. Let's see what you're doing Friday, bro. Let's break bread before you get up out of here, man. You leaving next week, man. I'm so proud of you, man. I can't wait for you to touch down that day and do what you gotta do. Do what you got to do. Dr. B was like, yeah, I do not like dealing with older women at all romantically, man. That is a fact. It is difficult dealing with older folks, man, men and women. I mean, you gotta understand something. Once you get older, you get set in your ways, especially if you're living by yourself and all that kind of stuff. Things kind of go the way they kind of go. And yeah, that's what's up. We'll make it happen, bro. I'll shoot you a text. But the dating world has changed drastically, bro. I don't recognize it. And it's not like I left the world. I mean, I'm just doing my thing. I'm living life. But it's been such a drastic change out there in the sexual marketplace from the mid 2000s to now. I mean, like the early to mid 2000s. Well, it's only 2024, but you figure from 2000 to 2010-ish, right? I recognize everything before that, but after that, this change came along, and technology is the reason it's so difficult. When Facebook and before all that, when it was MySpace, and then you had Facebook was just for college kids, and then Instagram came along. So social media got here. Dating apps got here. It completely changed the way we do business when it comes to dating, and it changed the way women moved in the sexual marketplace. Again, because you have all this freedom, the feminist movement or whatever, and you had your boss babes, your girl bosses, the slut walk thing came along. You couple everything with the culture, with hip hop, with rock and roll, with pop music, and all that. It's gotten to a point now where women are just playing trashy, and they're proud to be trashy, bro. This is what they want to be. They want to be trashy. And men have always struggled to understand the game, to meet women, to go out here, because young women, as soon as they hit 18, right? And sooner than that, really, when they're in school, but when they hit 18, bro, they start out in their prime. 18 into their 20s, mid 20s, they're peaking. But after that, the closer they get to 30, the tougher it becomes for them, because most women want the same type dude. It is what it is. People want the best, right? Hypergamy is a real thing, and I don't have a problem with it. People want the best, but the problem is supply and demand. There are only so many top tier dudes. There are only so many dudes who are over 6 feet. There are only so many dudes making over six figures. There are only so many dudes who have charisma, who can make you laugh, who are sharing and caring and, all the rest of it. There are only so many dudes who can do that. The vast majority of guys can't. They don't have all of that stuff. Maybe they have some of them here and there, but they don't have all of them. I mean, just the height alone, bro. You look at only 14, 15% of Americans are over 6 feet. Think about that. It's only a quarter of Americans. Think about that. Like really, like a quarter or less than a quarter of Americans are not obese, right? Or overweight. It's almost, the vast majority of Americans are obese or overweight. So trust me, there's no women out there who are like, my Prince in shining armor is gonna be, 5'6", 5'5", and 425 pounds. That's not the vision she has in her head. Nah, that dude's gonna be tall, dark, and handsome. So I mean, it is what it is. It's hard out here, and it doesn't get any easier because the women who are single and they're older, they go out there, they max out at work, they're doing their thing, they're making their money. Right, that's when the hypergamy kicks in, and they don't want a guy that's on their level. They'll take a dude that's on their level and has potential, but they really want someone better than them financially, physically, and all the rest of it. You hear Fresh and Fit talks about this all the time. Iron Gaines talks about this every other night. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, when they do the after hours, this is what they're talking about. And he's right. So as these women get older and they get all this money, and society, and feminism have told them, like, once you get all this money and, you have all this status and you have all this clout, you're going to be the most sought after woman there is. That's not true, because men don't look for those things generally. Men aren't looking for that. The things that women find attractive are not necessarily the things that men find attractive, especially when it comes to finances. Dudes are not going to look at a woman like, oh, I want her because she has a lot of money. If that were the case, then Lizzo would be one of the most sought after women on the planet when she was spiking, and she wasn't. It was like one little dude who was brave enough to smash her and go out with her in the daytime. And he was a brokey, right? There's no way. There's no way a guy with means of money would try to holler at someone like Lizzo. She's just far too unattractive. She's just too big. Like, it is what it is. So all women are competing against each other. Every age bracket, every cohort is competing. So that woman who hits her 40s and she's made partner and she's making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. She has all of Birkin and all of the Van Cleef and all of the Chanel that she can never dream of. She has the house. She has her main property. She has condos in Miami. She has a flat in London. She has all the things you could possibly want, but she doesn't have a dude. Why? Because the guys that she wants, the guys that are doing better than her, the guys that are making more than $300,000 to $500,000 a year, they have options. They have options. And I'm sorry, but there's no surgery that I'm aware of that can make you as attractive as you were when you were in your 20s. If you're in your 40s, there's no surgery. I don't care how many BBLs and facelifts you get. You still look like a person who has surgery. You're not going to be able to compete with your younger self. It just isn't possible. You're not going to look the same. People can tell you had the surgery. Now, there's plenty of dudes out there that'll smash you. Plenty, especially if you got that money. Plenty of dudes who got the game, who know what they're doing, who will insert themselves in the right locations to smash you. And a lot of these women, they understand it and they want that attention. Even the really wealthy women, even the women who are well-to-do, they still want that attention. So they fall for the game. They fall for the okie doke. They go after the same type dude. That dude will smash them, bust them chops, blow their back out, and then go find themselves some 25, 26-year-old, some 20-something that he's going to have on his arm and walk around because he has bread. She's looking at him like, well, I like this guy, and, it's pretty cool, but, he's only making $250,000 a year. I'm making 500. Like, well, how many dudes you think making that kind of money, sis? You feel me? And they don't figure it out until I get beyond it. Like, now you're in your 40s and, you're like, I always wanted to be a mom and wanted to have a big family. How are you going to do that now? Well, I froze my eggs. You're going to wind up like Ebony K. Williams. No dude is going to want to marry you. They're going to just, be with you, smash you, have some fun. They ain't going to have a kid with you. So you're gonna wind up thawing out your eggs and having, getting yourself a sperm donor and paying money for that, and then boom, you got your child. You're gonna raise your child all by yourself. This is the cycle that we're in. So no, it does not get old. It doesn't get easier as we get older. In fact, it gets tougher. Dr. B is saying it right here. It's different when you date as an older man. Your dating pool expands a lot, and the range of women you can be with goes way up. And that's the fact. Men don't reach their prime until they hit their 30s, right? When women hit their 30s, they're really like, if they haven't hit the wall, they're about to. Right. By the time a woman hits her 30s, I mean, her beauty has begun to fade. Period. It's no other way to say it. Not calling her ugly, not saying this and that. It's just her beauty has begun to fade. So women need to secure the guy that they want early in life. Men, it takes them time to acquire the things that women find attractive, right? Again, this is something that Fresh and Fit talks about all the time. Rolo Tomassi talks about this all the time. Rich Cooper talks about this, all the rest of them. This is how it goes. This is the game. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the game. It takes men time to acquire those things. And those men who manage to acquire those things, right, they're in their 30s, right? They used to be skinny and scrawny. Now they put on a couple pounds. They're in the gym. They look good. You look at someone like Idris Elba. You look at someone like, I don't know, George Clooney. You name the star, Brad Pitt. These dudes change up their diet a little bit, get a trainer, get their body together for a movie or something like that. Women go crazy for those guys. Like as guys age, they become more attractive to the vast majority of women, because if they do it right, if they do the work, they've made it. They've hit those financial goals. They've hit those the goals that maybe they set their professional goals, right? They know how to socialize. They've paid attention to the game. They know how to talk to people. They know how to earn money. They know how to be charismatic. They have toys, right? They have nice vehicles. Some have exotic vehicles. They have airplanes. They have boats, right? Or access to those things. You don't even have to own them. You just have money set aside. Like, oh yeah, I'm a private pilot. I got a multi-engine license. I'm renting Barons, and I got cool with guys who have twin Cessnas and Pilatuses, and I could fly with these. Maybe I bought in on a plane. Me and 4 other guys, maybe 5 other guys went in on a plane. We're good. Same thing with a boat. Well, I have enough money. I joined this yachting club. I can go down there. I can rent, a sailboat, or I can rent a motorized boat or whatever, because you got the money. And then you can provide these experiences. Man, who's going to say no? What woman exists in America that's going to say no to, going out on a sailboat for an evening? Hey, you want to go out on the sailboat and, we have dinner, some wine and cheese or whatever, just putt around out there in the marina and then come on back? Who's going to say no to that? It's just one of those things, man. And like Dr. B was like, I remember when Facebook came out in 2005 when I was in college. Yeah, man, Facebook, and it was just for college kids. Brother Jay's in the building. What's good, fam? He's like, when you're 19 as a guy, your dating pool is tiny. Women who are 20, 21 don't want to even look at you romantically. That's a fact. I mean, there's some dudes out there who just have a certain amount of game. They're F-boys, they're playboys, they're gangsters, they're whatever, right? And they could get on. When I was younger, I really didn't have a problem. And by younger, I mean, once I hit, 19, 20, 21, I was in the military. Just got out of high school, was in the military. And then when I got out of the military, yeah, bro, my game was at a point where I was doing it. And when I got back from the military, when I came back home, got back on the block, oh my goodness. I mean, I'm worldly now, right? I got stories, I got experiences. I'm funny. You know what I mean? I was a handsome young guy. I didn't have any money though, but I ran with a certain crew, and it was just, I may have been broke, but boy, I wasn't boring. And that's nothing you got to remember, man. Never bore a woman. I may have, I wasn't wealthy. I wasn't quite broke, but I wasn't wealthy either. But I wasn't boring. And we had women all the time. We had rotations. We were doing our thing. Never had a problem with women. But Dr. B is right. For those guys who were out there focused in college doing their thing, they didn't have time to really chase women because they were chasing their careers. They were chasing their education. I get it. It takes a lot of time to mess with women, bro. Women take a lot of time. Oh, Cody is King is in the building. What's good, fam? Good to see you, bro. It's been I was gone. I was MIA for the summer, but now we're back, bro. Like, should old Milford's even be allowed to date? Hey, man. Hey, It's plenty of dudes is looking for the sexual attention, but I hear you on that. It's not that when they go out here and they date, they're still in that 20 something mentality. Even though she's well into her 40s, maybe pushing her 50s, she's still out here. Once she thinks you're interested, she's hitting you with that 20 something game. And it's like, ain't nobody got time for this, shorty. And that's why they're unhappy. That's why you got so many people on antidepressants and stuff like that. And Brother Cody is right, man. Y'all had y'all chances. They did. And that's the problem. Feminism is telling women that they can do all this stuff. They can have all this stuff. And once they become successful and once they get their professional life down and once they get their home and all their money secure and all that kind of stuff, they could go ahead and get the man of their dreams. They can still get Prince Charming. And that is a lie. That is not true. Right? Are there some women out there who are extraordinarily beautiful, who went out and did all those things and have all that money and have all that clout? Can they get dudes? Yes, but we're talking single digit percentage. And even those women are going to struggle because those women aren't going to tolerate as much either because they got it. You're dealing with a woman who's making $500,000 or more annually. She has great investments, man. She's a legit millionaire. How much bullshit you think she's going to take from anybody? And how much bullshit is her counterpart going to take from her? Right? A guy who's making that kind of bread ain't going to take too much shit from her. Like she get too wild, he gone. Right? And then you have the guys below her, which is the vast majority of all the other men. Now that guy might take a little bit more, but he's going to have limits too, right? So you're going to have to go all the way down to the bottom of the list, all the way down to the upper echelon of the invisible guy to find a dude who's going to take all that bullshit, take all that sassiness, and take all that whatever from her. Even though she's pretty and even though she has all that money, that dude, and even that guy's going to have a limit at some point. But women aren't trying to date broke dudes. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. It's good to see you, Brother Cody. It's really good. It's really good to see you. Like, if you are a man, it only gets easier as you age, depending on what you're trying to do. I will agree with that. As a man, if you age, you do the work, more and more women are going to come to you, especially if you do the work and, you've achieved your results. But of those women, especially older women, they're way harder to talk to than the younger women. That's why you have a lot of successful men who talk to younger women. That's why they do it. Because the older the woman gets, the more baggage she has, the more emotional scars she has, the tougher it's going to be to have a real relationship with that person. She's going to have bad days. There are women out there who will be like, yeah, I'm sorry. They'll tell you up front, like, oh, some days I go off, I had these bad days. I want to tell you up front. I want to be, transparent here, da-da-da. At least they tell you, and you're like, okay, she's having a bad day. They might even text you like, don't come home, or I'm not coming home. But it's so much going on. You have women who will get upset about something. Yeah, you got a powerful woman or a woman who's done really well, upper echelon woman. She's still attractive. She's still doing something. Her dude told her, no, we're not going to do whatever. No, we're not going to go to France this year. No, we're not going to go to whatever. He makes a decision. We're not doing that. And she's like, you're not going to tell me what to do. She storms out the house because she's mad. How dare you? Who you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. She goes to a bar. She's having a couple Chardonnays. Bam. Someone like Uncle Saint pulls up next to her. I just happen to be there. She strikes up a conversation with me. Right. Next thing you know, we up in a hotel room doing whatever we doing. And as soon as she done, she feels bad on the one hand, like, that was great sex. But on the other hand, damn, I just cheated on my man. I got to come up with an excuse, tell him this, down the third. Why did you do it? Because you were mad because he made a decision as the head of the household. So you went out and smashed somebody. That is the hard part. But you see, like, if you're a dude who just there trying to get it, as Cody says, it gets easier for those dudes who do the work. If you're just trying to smash, if that's your mission, yeah, when you get older, okay, yeah, dating gets easier. But I'm not talking about just smashing people. I'm talking about dating, looking for someone to spend the rest of your life with, however much time you have left. You get old like me in your 50s, you ain't got a whole lot of time left, right? So it's like, when you get older, trying to find that type of woman, yeah, between 30 and 55 is really tough. After 55, I think women really understand what's going on. And if she still has her beauty, and there's some women out there in their 50s who are still gorgeous, if she still has her sex drive, if she's calmed down, if she's already had her kids, you got all these different ifs. If you have all that stuff lined up already, then you might be able to have an understanding. You guys might be able to just grow old together and see the world and do whatever. She's not going to worry so much about the money because she has plenty of it. But that woman is hard to find. She really is hard to find. You know what I mean? And at 30, she is one of them bros. Yeah. She's one of the bros. That's right, man. That's right. That is, I mean, I'm hearing you, man. And then Dr. B is like, for the women, you're probably not going to find a six-figure earner who is less than 35 years old. And if you do, he is he's pretty rare. Facts. And if you got a dude under 35 making over six figures doing his thing, bro, trust me, he's really doing his thing. That guy, if he wasn't a player before he came into that cash, he's definitely one now. He's out there, even if he's paying for it, whatever. He is going. Hey, look, men love attention too. Let's not get it twisted. Women really chase attention like that, but men love attention too. Right? Let's not get it twisted, guys. Right? Men love attention as well. Right? So they're going to go out there and get it. If women are throwing it at them, they're going to take it. I was just in Miami this past weekend celebrating with Fresh and Fit on their yacht party, and then we were at the nightclubs or whatever. Bro, there's a handful of beautiful young women trying to get at me. Women know what they're looking at. When you walk in the club, they can tell. They can look at you, okay? You're older. Got the gray in my beard. The way I'm dressed, the way I move, the way folks are coming up talking to me, folks taking pictures. They're like, all right, I want to find out what's up with that guy. And these young girls are getting it in. And all these women, all of them know that men want sex. They know what it is. Like, dudes want to smash. And if a woman really digs you, that's today, in today's market, that's where it's going to. Because there's no shame. It's going straight to the bedroom, bro, or straight to the car. You ain't even got to you probably won't make it to the crib, some of these women. And they all have boyfriends or dudes that they're messing with. They're running rotations. The way women move today is the exact same way that we were moving. Me and my homeboys were moving back in the day, back in the late 80s, into the 90s, right? All the way into the 2000s. We were running rotations. I see now women are running rotations. You know, sometimes the dude will be in the club. Like, yeah, you know, that's my friend, whatever. That used to be a rarity when I was coming up. Now you see it all the time. Brother Cody, I don't know, DL. I find the older chicks, 26 and up, tend to be the more hungry and or thirsty and seem to be much more aggressive when looking for men. That bio clock hits hard. Yeah, but that's when it begins, right? Because a lot of these women are like, okay, I need to find me a good dude because I want to have a family. I want to have a family, and they realize that they're not able to compete with the 20-somethings, like the young 20s. They can't compete with them girls. And they're like, oh, some of them wise up pretty quick, and they see a guy and they want to lock him in because they think he's the great guy, irregardless of compatibility, because they know, especially here in America and probably in Canada, I can get married to this dude. I can find some dude who's out here making good money. He's kind of a weirdo, not my number one choice, but he loves me. We can get in here, have some kids. If it don't work out, 7 years down the road, 10 years down the road, I'll walk away. So she's 25, 26 years old. By the time she's 35, 36, she's got a couple kids, right? She's locked into his pension. She's, you know, they got a couple properties. She could walk away. She's going to have at least one house. She's going to have, you know, she's going to get the kids more than likely. So there's going to be child support, although some states are making it hard for women just to do that. But there's going to be spousal support. So the spousal support is going to be more than the child support. And there's going to be some type of child support. And she's going to get at least one of the houses, you know, unless there's a prenup or something involved. So, and even if there's a prenup, she knows what she's getting. So she can get her kids, be at 30, 35, 35, 36 years old, and then go out and live her second life if she wants to. And you got a lot of women doing that too, but it's a lot of women out here who just aren't getting, they're not getting married and they're not having kids. So there's definitely a lonely epidemic on the male side, but these on the female side, if they can't get the top tier guys that they're wanting, they just will give up. They're not even trying to get a dude, which is crazy. Or they'll go out there and just start smashing everybody again, which, you know, you see it in the big cities and the medium-sized cities. I see it here in Tampa all the time. Seen it in Miami, LA, New York, Atlanta, you know what I mean? DC, you know, Dallas. Women are doing really good financially. They're doing really good in the professional world out here, but they can't get a guy. You see it, like, I don't even watch the after hours. I was in studio with Fresh and Fit last Friday. Tommy Sotomayor was there. Shout out to Tommy. That dude's crazy, y'all. That's my guy. He is crazy. I love talking to Tommy when the cameras are off, man. He's a very, very knowledgeable guy. sharp dude. So the we were sitting there watching the after hours go on. I'm like, I kind of walked out a couple times on set just to see what was going on. And it's all these women, they truly believe, they believe that they can go out here, find their fortune, and then there's going to be a man waiting for them at the finish line, and he's going to make even more than they do, and they're going to live happily ever after. That's not the case. And Brother Cody is saying, women old and young do not like the young baby look in a guy. They mock guys younger than them. It's just the way it is. Yeah. And another thing too, Brother Cody, you know what you're doing. There are a lot of guys out there who know what they're doing. So even when I was young looking, I was able to come up on older women, but my game was tight. I wasn't gonna let her talk shit to me. I'll walk away. Now, we didn't have social media and all that back then, so I just walk away like, all right, lady, whatever, go on somewhere. You know what I mean? And they start chasing you because it was a dynamic. If you're chasing them, they're gonna hit you with all the bullshit. But if they're chasing you, then you can pretty much do what you want. And there were plenty of old women who wanted to relive their glory days, and they were chasing after some youngins. But you are absolutely right. They will mock the guys who look young. And I think the biggest reason they mock the young dudes is because they believe you don't have any money. At least that's how it was in Ohio. Like, I was in, Cincinnati. The older women didn't think you had anything because they were messing with so many brokies. And then they will see that you actually had something going for yourself. They're like, oh, and they kind of changed their tune. But all that goes into the game. Right? I might be driving one of my homeboys' cars and she think it's my car. You know what I mean? I might be driving my dad's car at the time. She think it's my car. Right? And it's something as simple as that. Oh, it's like, hey, and then the way you carry yourself, like you like pushing her away a little bit. That was all a game to get her to want me, to get her to want, one of our crew. And it was a wrap. Once we got him, we got him. We got Brother Lou in the building. What's good, fam? He's like, what up, Dilly? You voting for Kamala? I'm not voting for Trump. Y'all know how I stand on that. Like, I'm not voting for Trump. So, I'll tell you this, it's a lot easier for me to vote for a candidate who can put a couple sentences together, who doesn't look like they're a walking zombie. And you guys can see what's going on with the polls and what's going on with the excitement on the Dem side, on the liberal side. Still, this race is too close to call. Obviously, there's 80 days or so before the election, 83 days, I think it is, something like that, 82 days before the election. And if Donald Trump doesn't pivot, he's going to lose this thing. What he's doing, the way he's, doing his standard Donald Trump, he's playing his greatest hits. It's not resonating with, the voters, especially that 5 to 8% of people who don't know, the fence sitters. They don't know how they feel about Trump or Harris. At this point, like, if you know what you're getting with a Donald Trump, you know what I mean? So it's other issues that they're going to be voting on. Trump's not talking about any issues right now. Kamala Harris is trying to talk about issues. Her VP is out there doing his, attack dog stuff and, painting the opposition as being weirdos and saying stupid stuff, which he's correct. So if Kamala Harris can hold it together for the next 80 days, I think she'll be the next president of the United States of America. And it's not because the people are crazy about Kamala Harris. It's because people can't stand Donald Trump. Trumpers love Trump, but he's a very, very unlikable person. Like, the people who like him, they love him. There's people out there who hate him. And there are more people out there that do not like Donald Trump's politics than there are people that do. So, I mean, look at his polling numbers. Look where he is, bro. He is pretty much stuck where he's been. His numbers are the same as they were when Biden was in the race. Something like 48.2%, 48 or 42.8%, something like that. But if you go look at the numbers, I was kind of looking at some stuff today. After Kamala Harris came on board, his numbers stayed right there. And it was Kamala Harris' numbers that went up. Joe Biden's numbers, of course, would fall into the gutter. So, yeah, man. I'm not voting for Donald Trump. I'll tell you that way. Brother Cody is like, part of my point is that they become more slutty as they age. Exactly. Brother Cody is king is right. That's exactly what happens. Getting back to our conversation here, that's exactly what happens. And I believe that's tied to attention. The older you get, the more your beauty fades. Right? The more you're willing to do to get that attention. And women know all they have to do is go ahead and smash, and that'll at least get them the attention for the night. Right? Women know that. Now, some of the women just act like they're gonna smash. They just act slutty, and it is what it is. And then at the end of the night, they just go home. We all know what that is. You know what I'm saying? The blue ball special. Y'all know what that is. But even when they do that, when they come back to get more attention, all the guys know, like, nah, she's just a tease. Stay away from her. So if she wants the attention, she has to step it up. She has to get more aggressive, more. She has to become more open to contacting this and that, which leads to her smashing. So, and again, it is all tied to needing it. They need the attention. They want the attention. Men want it too, but as they get older, that's the only weapon they have. Last good man in Jersey's in the building. What's good, fam? Good to see you, brother. Flow State in the building as well, man. Flow State, I see you, bro. Yeah, summertime, man. I got missing, bro. I was MIA. I was doing a lot of stuff, working on a lot of things, but now school's in here in Florida. This is the second day of school for my little one, so I'm back to my schedule now. She's in high school, so her schedule changed, so I'm able to do these podcasts earlier. So we're gonna go from 5 until 7 Monday through Thursday, and then weekends. We'll throw some extra ones in, whatever. We do some DL shorts or whatever. Oh, my sister in the building. Miss AKA lady in the building. What's good, sis? I hope you're having a great summer. Hope your summer was well. Hope the little ones are doing good. Because I'm pretty sure your kids are back in school too. We close. We in the same part of the world. Brother, it was like, bro, without reparations on the table, I am probably sitting this one out. We are the only group afraid to stand for anything. And yes, women get nastier as they get older. Right. I feel you, brother Lou. And yeah, reparations. I really don't see reparations happening. I think they should. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do believe that America needs to answer for that, man. So what happened to our ancestors? And I'm one of those Americans who can, I know what plantation we came from, right? So if reparations became a thing, we wouldn't have a problem at all, proving that we were owned at some point. Our family members were owned by folks, and our labor was used to create this country, make it as great as it is, as it always has been. But if we were to do reparations, I would do it a certain way. It wouldn't really involve any cash. It wouldn't really involve the government have to just give checks out. And if, I could do a show about how I would run reparations. I really want to stay away from political stuff, but this topic I would definitely talk about. If y'all want me to do a show on how I would do reparations, how I think reparations should run in this country, let me know. I can do a short on it. Or we can do like an hour on it or something like that, like bring some folks up. Like, just let me know if y'all want me to do something like that, because I could certainly talk about reparations, and I do believe that needs to happen. However, it's not gonna happen. And that's my take on it for now. But if it were to happen, absolutely, it should. I got some good ideas on how it should work out. I've talked to a lot of people about it, and every time I drop this, this little idea, people are like, yeah, I would get behind that. And I'm talking about Republicans, hardcore conservative Republicans. They were like, yeah, I could get behind that. That makes sense. But the biggest problem with reparations is, how do you determine who's eligible and for what percentage, right? That's the biggest thing. Because everything's so mixed up. You have slave owners having children with the slaves, and, you have people who were not here doing slavery, but they were here doing Reconstruction, or they were here doing the civil rights thing and redlining, so they was affected by that. So it's a mess. Like, how do you determine who's eligible and how much they're eligible for? But if we can solve for that question, what I would do as far as how reparations will work is, I think it's a great idea. If I do say so myself, I'll pat myself on the back for that. And Miss AKA lady, like, yep, back at it with the school stuff. Last good man in Jersey. It's like, built a short, then expand upon it based on reactions. Build short. Okay, yeah, I'll do the short then. I'll do it. Appreciate that, bro. I'll put the short out probably later on this week, maybe Friday. I'll put the short out. It'll be about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes short, be real quick. Put it out there and see what it do. So I appreciate that, man. So we got a couple videos. We want to talk about this. This video here is entitled "Dating in Your 30s." This woman here, I forget her name. I should have wrote it down. YouTuber. I want to say she has about 60,000 or so subscribers, but I haven't listened to I've listened to just a couple minutes of this, and then I stopped and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just do a reaction to what she has to say about women dating as they get older. Um, so like dating in your 30s, three reasons you can't find the right man. And this was done in 2020. The stuff that she's gonna talk about is universal and it's timeless. It doesn't matter if you're talking about 2020 or 1820, right? It doesn't matter. But here, certainly here in the modern era, you don't need three reasons why you can't find the right man. It just women just don't want to, and I can correct me if I'm wrong, but most women just don't want to quote unquote settle. They don't want to acknowledge where they are and where they rate in today's sexual marketplace. And it's like, I may be older, but I'm still a 10. Well, if you believe that, you're gonna be alone. Simple as that. You got to get in where you fit. If you're still attractive, without makeup, if you're still fit, you got yourself together. Um, you're not going to be able to get that 10. It's going to be hard. Shoot your shot, but you're probably going to wind up with a dude who is a 5, which is average. You're going to find yourself with an average guy who's about 5'8", 5'9", making about $60,000, maybe $70,000 a year by that time. In his 30s, that would be doing pretty good in America. Be doing really good in America for that guy. He's probably going to have a few extra pounds just like you. That's where you're going to end up. Right? That's where you're going to end up. And Brother Lou, man, I'm going to put out the short, man, and then, maybe we can have a discussion, bro. We can have a conversation about it. I definitely wouldn't mind talking about it. 4-tier solution. Yeah, like we should talk about it. I'm gonna put the short out there, bro. If you like the short, comment on the short, and then I'll reach out to you. We can get together. We'll set it up and just, we'll just come up and have a conversation. I think it'd be a good conversation, bro. And Brother Lou was like, he thinks women would get their matches if they competed in more beauty pageants. Don't do that. That's another problem, man. You got women going out here in beauty pageants and they're thinking, I'm even more beautiful now because I got a blue ribbon in this beauty pageant. It's like, no, baby, you're not Miss Universe, man. That was just a local, pageant. Stay away from that. I think more women should be a little more realistic when it comes to dating and what their real matches are. And, you're gonna have to give. You're gonna have to give a lot. There's women out there like, I'm 35, I don't have any kids, and I don't want a man who has any kids, and I want my man to be this height, and I want him to make this much money, and I want him to. It's like, baby, you can't dictate, because that guy is very valuable. He can get pretty much what he wants. You're naming a dude that all the other women are naming. So let's get into this video and see what they're talking about.
Today, I'd like to specifically talk about dating in the 30s. Why is it so easy for a man in his 30s, but so difficult for a woman in their 30s? Arguably, it is the most important decade for dating, actually for both sexes. And I want to cover the reasons that it's so easy for a man and so difficult for a woman. So in case we haven't met.
Well, right off the bat, it's not easy for men per se. It's easier because, like we said earlier, it takes men time to acquire those things that women value in a mate. That's all it boils down to. So it's easier for men because they're more sought after because they have the wealth, because they have the toys, because they have the game. They know what they're doing, right? They're charming, they're funny, they're warm, they like pets. You know what I mean? They have their own place, right? They're financially stable. This is why it's easier for those men. But if you're talking about a guy who's 38 years old and he's working at McDonald's, making hamburgers and dropping fries, it ain't easy for him. It's never been easy for him. It never will be easy for him. He has to do the work. And for the women, it's like, it's easy for them just because they're young and pretty and beautiful. Even if they're not that beautiful, they're still prettier. They were prettier when they were 22 versus when they're 42, 32, 42, 52. Right? So, and then they have less baggage and they've been through less stuff. Man, she's playing all this music. I hope the music don't get us in trouble. But let's listen to a little bit more of this.
My name's Luann Ward. I am a dating and relationship expert for over 25 years. I have been a professional matchmaker for nearly 3 decades also. So I want to talk about why dating in your 30s is so important. It is the most important decade for dating. I know I've said that, and I'll probably say it another 2 or 3 times during the course of this video. So there's 3.
So you're talking about dating in your 30s is really important. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. If if you're a woman and you're like well into your 30s and you're not married or have been married or something like that, dudes are gonna look at you like, what's wrong? Something's wrong here. Dudes are gonna look at that. And I'm like, with this woman, this dating coach here, you notice she's not showing her hands. I'm trying to get a look at her ring finger to see if she's married. Not that it makes any difference. You know, there's people out there who can coach but can't necessarily play, right? Like she couldn't play the game right, but she could absolutely coach you up and to help you avoid the pitfalls. But yeah, if for a woman in her 30s to be single, never married or whatever, that's going to raise some flags amongst the guys who have choices, the top tier dudes. The bottom tier guys don't care. They just want them a woman and they'll love her or whatever. But the guys who put in the work and done the things, they're going to look at that like, okay, wow, there's something going on here. What am I missing? And it might not be nothing. It might be just the woman put her personal life on hold while she pursued her career and all that kind of stuff. Okay, great. But she still has to compete with those women who didn't. You still got to compete with the younger chicks, the 25, 26, 27, 28-year-old woman who's beautiful and fun and ready to have kids and ready to commit and ready to, get with this man's program. So if you're in your 30s, I just hate to say it, like, it just makes it harder for women in their 30s. I am a single one's in the building. I know she ain't gonna like this. What's good, sis? I am the single one. Last good man in Jersey. Like, I think women just don't want to get married. They can smash top tier dudes, which they seem to prefer to marrying regular dudes when they get older. Yeah, I think that, yes, that's true. I believe I agree with you there. But with women, I don't think that I don't think the plan or the goal is to just, I'm gonna go out here and smash top tier dudes. I think they smash the top tier dudes in an attempt to keep them so they can lock them down for a relationship, but it just doesn't work out. That's what I think. I could be wrong. We got sisters in here. We got women in here who can tell us what it really is. You know what I mean? Maybe if we're lucky, I am the single one to jump up here. I'll drop the link. Sis, if you ready to talk, I'll definitely drop the link. But let's listen to what this matchmaker has to say. It sounds like she's Australian.
Three main reasons that there's going to seem like there's a male shortage in your 30s. And as much as it's easy enough to get out on dates, there's so many apps, you have so many choices. And so setting up the dates is very, very easily, but you're usually attracting emotionally unavailable men or men who don't know what they want or men who don't want to have children just yet. They think they've got all the time in the world. And to a degree, they have a lot more time on their hands because they don't have a biological clock ticking. So for a man in their 30s, there's a lot more scope that they have. You got to
understand too, she's talking about a man in her 30s. They're talking about top tier men in their 30s. They're talking about the men who've done the work. She's not talking about the average guy. They're talking about the top tier, the top 20, not the bottom 80. She's talking about the men in their 30s that women want. That's what she's talking about. She's not talking about Joe the plumber, who is doing really well and has his own plumbing business, right? She's not talking about that dude. Although she could be if that guy is doing his money right and he dresses a certain way and he moves a certain way. But let's say they got the bus driver, the bus driver in a big city who's making $85,000 a year. They're not talking about that guy. They're not talking about the construction worker, right? They're not talking about the guy who is, the electrician, which they should be. These men make a lot of money, right? But nah, they want the guys who have the complete package. So, and again, the vast majority of women are chasing these people, right? And yeah, Dr. B is right, man. It's the apex fallacy. Absolutely.
Remember that in the 20s, women will date outside of their 20s. Okay, so for a woman, she'll happily date a guy that's 5, 6, 7 years older than her while she's in her 20s because they're usually established. They're usually living away from home. They've got a better income source so they can go out and do more fun things. If you haven't seen my last video, which is why younger men are attracted to older women, I really recommend that you actually have a watch of that video because it's going to help explain how this came about, how men in their 30s now actually have all these extra options. So I'm going to pop the link below so you can.
They've always had those options. That's not a new thing. The men with the resources, the men with the clout, they've always had a plethora of women. It's always been the case. And then women say, well, these guys don't know. They don't want to commit. They don't know what they want to do with their life. They know exactly what they want to do. They want to smash. Point blank, period. The woman is looking to lock him down. The dude is looking to smash. They know that. And it takes a certain type of woman that can get that guy to commit. She has to really add a lot of value, move a certain way. It happens, but she has to know what she's doing. Most women today do not know how to add value to those kind of guys. They all want that type of guy. First of all, they don't know where to find them. Secondly, if they do manage to stumble across them, they don't know how to add value. They don't realize that that guy doesn't want some loudmouth, opinionated woman embarrassing him in front of folks. He wants a woman that's savvy, that's shrewd, that can read the room, and she's poised in all her grace and all her elegance right next to him. And she's whispering in his ear, be careful with that guy. That guy, that's a bad guy. Go talk to that guy. Hey, I spoke to Benny's wife. Benny's a good guy. That's the guy we want to do business with. Let's talk to Benny. Like, that's the kind of value that those top tier dudes need and they want. They want the woman that's going to cook for them. They want the woman that doesn't have a problem cleaning. Yeah, she could be making tons of money and all that, but he doesn't want that. So I think that there are a lot of women who just don't want to acknowledge that one simple thing. Right? I am a single one. Resources over clout all day. And there are some people that figure that out. A lot of, but most women don't. And the women who, and this is anecdotally speaking, the women I've run into that have begun to figure it out tend to be older, in their mid 30s and beyond. They figured it out. I'm talking about some beautiful women. Some of them are like, all right, I met a woman. She was Dominican. I think she's Dominican, out of New York. Beautiful woman. She was a model and then some sort of entertainer, like I don't know if she acted or sang or whatever. I bumped into her in a cigar joint here in Tampa, just on the humble. Just happened to be in some cigar joint. She was with two of her friends. We chopped it up. I got her Instagram, of course. Beautiful woman. Older. She has a son. I think she has a son or daughter. She has a kid. I can't remember if it's a boy or a girl. Beautiful, beautiful woman. Great conversation. She had, all kind of red flags. She was telling me she had been locked up before. She was telling me the kind of dudes she used to mess around with, all that kind of stuff. But her beauty is still there. Driving a really nice European car, living in a nice home. Whenever she's posting to her Instagram, she's on boats. She's in she's in exotic locations. She's doing, she's living a life. And I went through a bunch of her pictures. You could probably go through 100 of her pictures before you see the one picture of the dude that she's messing with, the dude that's providing all that for her, right? Some older guy, of course, like she's in her 30s. I think she was in her mid to late 30s. This guy was like getting into his 60s. But she realized, like, I'm not going to be able to get the young dude that can provide all this stuff for me. I'm going to get this older guy. I'm going to play my role and I'm going to do my thing. And that's what she's doing. That's what she's doing. But the vast majority, her counterparts, are not as successful because it was only one dude and she got him. And yeah, he's messing around. He's probably doing his thing with other people, but he keeps coming back. She's in the house, right? Is she married? I don't think she's married to the guy, but she has the access right now. So actually, she's still kind of losing until she gets the ring. And once she gets married to the guy, if he marries her, then she can relax or whatever, let her hair down, provided that the prenup works for her. But right now, she's stacking her cash. She's doing her thing, which I think is crazy. Miss AK, hey, lady, men will commit to someone they feel is worth the effort. Yes. And that person that's worth the effort will be the person who is adding the most value for the top tier guys. Now, for everyone else, for the bottom 80 dudes, for everyone else, that man will commit to a woman that he loves. He's all into the Disney fairy tale more so than she is. So there's always a dude out there that's willing and ready to commit to a woman. So you got a woman out there who's a 6. That's one step above average. There's a dude out there who will commit to her, who's a 6, might be a 5, might be a 7. There's a dude out there for her, but she believes that she is settling for those guys, when in fact, that's what she rates. That's where she rates. That's who she should be with. They want her, but she don't want them. And it's a lot of women. And then as they get older and older and older, their value starts to slip, just their sexual market value. That's what we're talking about. Like their ability to garner resources and attention from men begins to erode. And what does she do? What do they all do? They got to turn to sex. They don't have to turn to sex. They're gonna have to turn to, providing resources to the dude, which women don't do. Women don't do. I see you, fam. What's good, Airborne? Bro, you killing me with that Falcon Laser Strike Force thing. You killing me with that, bro. You are killing me with that. Men are only as faithful as their options. Some men are. There's some dudes out there who, if they want the one woman, they find a woman that they want, that they will absolutely stay with her and not cheat, be faithful, be monogamous. There's some people out there like that. Not a lot. I know a couple. I know. I'm just one in the chat right now. I know of one man that I know for a fact never cheated on his wife, has been faithful, has done his thing. I know that. But I only know one. I'm old. All the others, there's some dudes that are faithful now. There's some women who are faithful now after, one or two marriages or after getting caught or something like that. But I'm talking about people who ain't messed up from the beginning, were committed to their vows. I know very few people like that. Very, very few. Right. But, I see what you're saying. A lot of guys, if given the option to go out there and smash just random women, they will. They will. Even dudes who are married, they will. Let's continue.
You can actually check out that video as well. But for a woman in her 30s, being established, you're set up, you have your career, you have your finances together, you have a great circle of friends, you've traveled, you've achieved a lot of the things that you set out to achieve. The realization that you have all these things that you set out to do and you have a great life, but there's that one piece missing. And it's difficult when a lot of your friends are all getting married and having children and you think, wow, what's wrong with me? Why can't I find someone? Where are all the men? Dating apps and online dating present so many opportunities. So meeting men isn't the problem. Meeting a man that you have things in common with, that actually wants to have a family. And as you approach your mid to late 30s, you don't have time to waste on relationships that aren't going anywhere. And unfortunately...
And see, that's the thing, because they have wasted all that time on dudes with relationships that weren't going anywhere. So now they got this hurry mentality, but they're still shooting for the top, the tip top. It's like, listen, slow down. I tell the women all the time, like they put all these good men in their friend zones, and these good dudes, they sit there like a good boy, sit here in the friend zone, and they'll wait 15, 25 years. And when a woman finally comes back around, he'll take her. Like, what are you doing? This is the thing that we want to change with the men out here. These men need to get out here, get their confidence up, and realize that they can get out here and get what they want. They just have to be willing to put in the work. These guys will sit back and wait because they're in love. They fixate on these people. They pedestalize or whatever. They get one-itis, and they sit there and they wait. And they watch this woman run through these dudes, do all this crazy stuff. And then she'll come up to you 25 years later. She's past it. She got all these emotional issues. And she's like, well, I guess we should go out. I guess you could take me, to an expensive restaurant and a helicopter dinner. Like, what? And she comes in with the attitude like, I'm better than you. It's like, nah. And you know what? If she can pull it off, good for her. I'm not mad at her. That's how the game goes. You know what I mean? Bro, you killing me. Airborne, super laser. Was the super laser strike force? What the razor logical? I don't even know what you're trying to spell. But anyway, but you said that was taken. Man, you need to chill out. You need to chill out, bro. That's for Jay Swan's in the building. He's hiding. He hiding. It is what it is. Last good man in Jersey. Like, you gone to the Philippines, man. Look at that. I ain't mad at you, bro. Enjoy yourself out there, man. Plenty of women over there worth committing to. Yep. The passport bros have not messed up the Philippines, at least not yet. And I think a lot of the passport bros are starting to chill out. They've worn out their welcome in some of these countries, and these countries are starting to turn on them. You got these weirdo guys that are just going to these, other places. I'm gonna go to this bubble over here where I get an instant upgrade to top tier, and I'm gonna run this game. And it's like all they doing is just getting wrecked. they're getting wrecked. But we'll talk about passport bros later. You know what I mean? Could Dan Bazarian get married? Yeah, if he wanted to. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Dr. B. You're absolutely right. But there are people out there who want that committed relationship. They want that Disney fairy tale, and there's nothing wrong with it, especially if they can find it. But those guys who don't have the game, they don't have the ability to see the true person, they're at a disadvantage. And if you get married in America, you have to go through the family court system. You're going to get wrecked. It's going to hurt if you're the one who has the money. Now, again, we're talking about what women want, and they tend to want guys who are more financially prepared than they are. You got some women who are out here meeting dudes and just staying with them, even though the guys don't earn as much as they do and whatever. And I think that's a great thing. Those women, if they find themselves in divorce court, will lose money. They will lose resources because, they're the people with the money, and the court will take it from you and give it to the person who doesn't have the money. But, up until this point, it's been men who have been, by and large, losing in the family court system. I am seeing always like, yeah, shout out to all those women in the Philippines. They getting it. They getting it over there.
What happens is that a lot of women in their 30s, they get out on dates and they want to fast track everything. So this is one of the main reasons that men in their 30s are not dating women in their 30s. So if you look from a man's perspective, and guys, I'm sure that you're going to resonate and agree with this, that dating someone in their 30s can sometimes feel like a whole load of pressure. You go on the first date, second date, third date, and the conversation is going to come up. So, hey, where do you see yourself in the future? Do you want to have a family? Do you want to have kids? And I know that that's an important aspect, and it's an important question to ask. But in the early stages of dating, it is a confronting question for a man.
Well, she's got a good point here. I mean, you look at that first point, her first reason. Women want to fast track, men want to move at a different pace, right? Women in their 30s want to fast track. I mean, a lot of women, if they like you, people, that's not even just a woman thing. If the other person is into you, they're going to want to be with you. They're going to want to lock you down. If you're dealing with a guy who, you're a beautiful woman, you're dealing with a guy like the woman I just talked about is in my Instagram, the older woman, the Dominican, who's beautiful. If some guy who's some regular guy is talking to her and she's like, I like you, I want to date you, that guy's going to say, absolutely. Right now, he's going to ask her to move in. I don't care if you got a kid, no problem. I'll be the stepdad. He is, because she is just that beautiful. Like, she is gorgeous. And when I met her, she had on no makeup. And I'm like, man, she didn't have on any makeup. She's wearing some jeans and a shirt and a coat because it was, it was cold down here in Tampa. It was during the winter. Man, she was fine. Hair just pulled back. That's the only reason I stayed was to talk to her. Her two friends, not attractive at all. Not attractive at all. And it didn't matter because the cute one was talking to me. I'm like, you know what? I'll post up right here. And how did I know? I know a lot of guys like, how did you know that she was digging you? I was standing up and she offered the seat next to her. Sit here. That's what she said. Sit here. No problem. Right? I sat right down. I wanted to see what time it was. I wanted to see where she was with it. And I realized pretty quick, like, this ain't going to go nowhere. But it was already, the night was over. Her friend was behind the bar and her other friend was just hanging out with her. So we basically, everybody was out. It was just us. We even locked the doors. It was just me and the three women chit-chatting, having a good time. And then it was like, all right, it's time to go. I got to go home. But old girl was like, sit next to me. She's leaning on me. She's touching me. She's talking to me. I'm the center of attention. Bro, that's how you know. For you guys out there who can't quite figure it out. Like I say, if a woman wants your attention, she will put herself in your orbit. Right? She had me sit down right next to her. So she is in my orbit. She's reaching out. She's touching me. She's physically touching me. She's making eye contact. She's listening to every word I say. That's how you know a woman's trying. She's into you. She's digging you. Right? Her friends, same thing. They were all like, and she was she was the leader of the pack. So, she likes him and we all like him. But I tried to get her on the podcast. She wouldn't do it. And she's not going to do it because of her situation. I get it. She's not married yet. When she gets married to this dude, she'll do the podcast, and tell us, give us all a game. She'll give us all a game. And men and women do move at different timelines, but I'm telling you, If dudes see a woman and she's attractive, hell, the woman ain't even gotta be attractive, man. She could be a little Teletubby, chubby, fat girl. Guys be moving fast too. The bottom 80 dudes be moving quick. They want to lock something down because it is very difficult for them to get sexual access. They're gonna lock it down. And young women try to lock you down to a relationship. They just want to be comfortable. They like you. They want you there. Older women are trying to lock you down, I think, for a different reason. Perhaps, the biological clock is ticking. Again, they're dealing with all kind of issues before you. They want to make sure they're not wasting their time, like this woman is saying right here. So there are definitely different reasons for why, but a lot of people, just think about it. When most people meet someone, it's fiery up front, man. They just take off like rocket ships. And then it peters out and then they break up. But while they were together, it was intense. They wanted to be with each other, 24/7. So it's not just women that do that. Platinum Wings in the building. XO here, great topic. PJ back on the market, says the landscape of dating sucks in LA for 39-year-olds. Yeah, bro, I see you, XO. Good to see you, bro. I ain't seen you in a minute. And I know y'all working, man. Hey, XO, before I continue, man, are y'all working a lot of OT out there? Because I was talking to some guys in Miami, and I know the guys at the big facilities are working mandatory OT, 10-hour days. They're working 6-day weeks. What's going on with y'all out there, man? I'm just curious. Is it because it sounds real bad at the big facilities? I wonder if it's not as bad in the medium facilities. And Jay Swan's like, bro, same thing used to happen to me in kindergarten. Teacher always had me sitting next to her. I knew something was up. Boy, you a fool. You a fool. But yeah. Damn, is that much overtime, bro? Jesus Christ. Hey, y'all need to be, listen, y'all need to be applying to be air traffic controllers, y'all. Go back and watch that video, man. Y'all need to be, they need controllers bad. Wow. Bro, y'all are cleaning up out there, XO. Holy shit, that is a lot. That is a lot. I am a single one. She's like, so bottom 80 men commit due to difficulty procuring sexual access. Think about it, sis. These guys can't get on. These guys don't get attention. If they luck into a situation where they got a woman who's like willing to take them on, yeah, they're gonna lock on to that guy, as opposed to the player types, as opposed to the guys who understand the game. The guys who understand the game, the relationship isn't priority to some of them, right? It's different for the guys who are used and able to get women. They move differently. So they're probably not going to lock on. However, having said that, there are guys out there who, top tier dudes, who know what they're looking for. And when they see it, they jump right in. They're going to jump right in and try to lock her down. I've seen that happen. Sometimes they do that to their own detriment. Sometimes it's the right woman. Sometimes they do it to their own detriment. Right? So, but at the end of the day, he knows how to run his game and get what he wants. Like, come on. Like most dudes, they're looking to smash. Someone like me, I'm older. I like conversations. When I'm going out, I'm not on the hunt like I used to be. I'm not looking to smash. But if some attractive woman is basically saying, let's go to the telly, I want to blow, I want you to blow my back out, I'm not going to say no. Whereas when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever, it was like, shit, what's up, baby? Let's go. When we leaving? You coming home with me? That was the game. I was on you right away. You knew what time it was. Now, I just sit back. Oh, that was a great conversation. It was nice meeting you. I'm about to go. Hey, wait, where are you going? Can I come with you? That's what's going on now. Right? I've had people just, girls just jump in the car like, yo, baby, where you going? Like, wherever you want to take me. Okay. Right. All right. I guess we're going to go over here to the Renaissance Hotel. I feel like taking you over there. They're like, no problem. Man, XO, that's insane, man. On course for 255K, bro. That's a lot of work, but hey, Don DeMarco. Damn, but that's a lot of time at work, bro. God damn. Plus, y'all got the upgrade too, but still, that is a lot of time at work, bro. Ooh, okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm done talking about air traffic. I'm done talking about air traffic. I'm gonna focus on women dating in your 30s. It's like, I wonder if their wives know that. Some of them do. Some of their wives know it. There are guys out there who, these dudes, these top tier dudes, trust me, if they want multiple women, they get them. If they want to run a rotation, they get the rotation. And a lot of these women know what their guys are doing. It's more and more women that are like, cool, just, wear these condoms and don't bring home no babies. Don't have any accidents. Don't embarrass me. There are women out there who are okay with it. The guys tell them up front, this is what I'm going to do. If you got a problem with it, fine. Tell me now. I'm just going to move on. I was one of those guys. I'm not going to lie to you. This is what I'm doing. We're not exclusive. I'm doing my thing. If you got a problem with it, let me know now. And I rarely had women. Some women would back away, but they would still smash, but then they would back away. But most women be like, all right, just don't embarrass me. I'm like, nah, don't you embarrass me. But for those guys who lied, that's just terrible. You shouldn't be lying. You should not be lying. Let's continue with the video.
There's a lot of pressure. So you might meet somebody that you think, oh, he's amazing. And he might think the exact same thing of you. And you start dating and there comes 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And you want to know, where are we going? Where's this heading? So you kind of ask the guy, well, where is this heading? Do you see us together? And it's not just you asking that question. It's every woman, men in their 30s are dating, that are asking that question. So for a guy who just wants to take things as they come, and it's not to say that they don't want to be in a relationship and they don't want all those things, but it's a lot of pressure to jump into a relationship, and it doesn't have a natural flow. Because what's happening in the woman's mind is you girls are thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to find somebody. I've got to settle down. I really want to have kids. All my friends are having kids. My sisters have got kids. My brothers have got kids. And I really want this. And why can't I find somebody? What's wrong with me? And girlfriends and your parents and a lot of people around you will say, maybe you're being too fussy, or maybe you intimidate men. Men are intimidated. You're a beautiful girl. You can find anybody. But for the girl that's searching for somebody, that's not so easy. But ladies,
you see what I'm saying? It is. They're there. Like, they are there. So again, the issue isn't you can't find the man. The issue is you can't find the man that you want, because the man that you want is running through all these other women. That could be the case. Right? Go after the guy. Again, you don't have to have the number one dude. How about go after number 15 dude? Miss AKA lady is saying a 30-something-year-old woman is still considered young to a number of 40+ men. Plus, there are a considerable amount of men in this range who are done having kids. Agreed. Here's the thing though. The 40+-year-old dude, if he's top tier, he's looking at 40-year-olds, he's looking at 30-year-olds, he's looking at 20-year-olds, because all those women are looking at him. If he's top tier, if he's fit, if he's taking care of himself, he's financially stable, right? He's funny, he's witty, he's charming, right? He's the one. He's the silver fox, yeah? And you best believe there's a 26, 28-year-old that's going to rock with that guy. And if he wants kids, he's going to go to the youngest option possible so he can have those kids. Now, if he doesn't have kids and he's looking for a relationship, the 30-somethings and the 40-somethings are in play. Now, if he doesn't want kids because he's already had his children, he meets a woman who is 31. She's got, she's got her finances together. Her professional life is on point. She's made partner at the firm. She's a lawyer. Like, she's all clouded up and she wants kids and she's trying to get with him. He's going to be like, nah, I'm not having any more kids. He might be like, I'm fixed. And if he's a good guy, he'll tell her up front. If he's dirty, if he's grimy, he won't even tell her. And just, I don't know why we're not having babies. Must be you. You're 32. There's people out there who are just rotten to the core. And it's up to her to make sure she picks a good guy that's going to be up front with her. But I mean, it's tough. It gets harder. These guys who have done the work are the most desirable men to all cohorts of women, period. And they get to choose. Now, there's always men out there that'll want to be with that 30-something who's beautiful. Just like Lil Shorty said, there are dudes out there who are going to want to be with you. But a lot of those guys get scared off by these women because they get in, and some of these women already have attitudes because they believe they're settling for this guy. So he's going to catch that vibe right away. And then she's going to kind of get into do this, do that. You better make me happy. I want kids. You know, she's Miss Drill Sergeant. Okay, how much of that shit is he going to take? I mean, because he still is like, well, shit, bro. He might be like, look, I'm not in the top 20%. You know what I mean? But it's like, well, damn, I'm at the top of the bottom 80. So I still got options too. And all he has to do is work on his game. He can work on his game. And I think a lot of women assume that dudes are just after sex. Like dudes just want sex. There are a lot of guys out there who just want to smash. And if any guy is offered an opportunity to smash a beautiful woman, hell, if he's offered an opportunity to smash a chubby, ugly, fat woman, he'll probably do it on a slow Tuesday. You know what I mean? Do a few shots in his own. But as dudes get older, they are looking to settle down. They do want to be with women. It just depends on the dude. You know, someone like me, I have kids. I ain't having no more. It's a wrap. I ain't having no more kids. It ain't happening. I don't care who you are. It ain't happening. Right? Some of my people are like, well, if you loved it enough, man, you will get unfixed and then have a kid. Like, no, I won't. I ain't doing it. First of all, kids are too expensive. And secondly, I'm not trying to be raising a kid until they put me into the forever box and drop me in the ground. Nah, I'm done with kids. So if I'm talking to a woman and she's like, she really wants to have kids, that's not going to go anywhere. We're going to smash a few times, have some fun, and that's it. Right? That's it. So, you know, you got that. At the end of the day, the guy who's done the work at this point in the game still has, he still has control. I understand when she's like, I thought 30 was the wall. It's not a hard number, love. Like the wall comes for you at different stages in life. You could look at someone like Halle Berry or Janet Jackson or something like that. The wall certainly didn't hit them at 30. Man, they were beautiful. They were top of their game. I mean, they were the women that every man wanted. Gwen Stefani, I don't know. You name. I'm just trying to think of some other actresses and people out there. Shoot, Madonna. When Madonna was 30, she was nowhere near the wall. But at some point, the wall comes for you. It comes for all of us. I think I got about I might be able to stretch it out maybe 8 years, 10 at the most before I smack into the wall. 10 at the absolute most before I smack into the wall. My game, I have to change into that geriatric game. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of people, the wall comes for everyone. There's some people who hit the wall and, they're 26, 27 years old. There's some people, it is what it is. But the concept of the wall holds true. At some point, it's going to hit you hard. Right? Like what Dr. B is saying. It's like, 30 is pretty much it's what they call it, the wall. Because at 30, even as beautiful as you may be at 30, you still will not be able to compete with your 20-year-old self. And that's the whole point. You start to lose that advantage. You become more, less superhuman. You become more human. You're about to come down here and join us mere mortals. That's what that concept's all about. 30, 38, 40, 45. That's what it's all about. So, I mean, a lot of people out here have trouble with that, especially women. They have trouble with that. And feminism doesn't talk about this, but women are talking about it now with this technology. It's tons of videos out there. I just landed on this one. There's so many videos of beautiful women out there who are in their 30s. They're childless. They're single. And a lot of them are telling the truth and like, I'm unhappy. Some of them are like, I'm still living my best life. Nah, I think they're unhappy too. And again, I don't think there are many women out there that just want to use their sexuality and go out here and let dudes just bust all up in them and blow their backs out and all that, just be smashing random dudes. But this new trashy movement, this no shame thing, got women doing just that. And they're like, well, this isn't going to affect my ability to garner a good mate and get the guy that I want. Like, yes, it will. They're going to stumble onto your social media and see the stuff that you've been out there doing. They're like, I ain't messing with this. I ain't taking this chick serious. There's dudes out there doing it. And Dr. B is right. Yeah, the wall is more of a mental experience and not physical. There you go. Great point. Great point, Dr. B. Thank you for that, bro. That's a fucking great point. So let me get back to the video. I'm running out of time. I'm just going to get back to the video. I'm going to show every comment, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to read them all. Any super chats I will Oops, my bad. Any super chats I will stop the show and read, but I'm just going to show everybody comments, and I'm going to pick and choose just so we can get through it. I got at least one more video I want us to watch.
A definite reason why it's so difficult, because men in their 30s, they have the ability to date women in their 20s. Okay, so you remember when you're in your 20s and you're dating men that are a little bit older than yourself. So these men that are in their 30s, they have access to women that are in their 20s. Young girls are just happy to take it as it comes. There's no pressure for the guy in his 30s when he's dating a younger woman that's in her 20s, because she's usually just in the moment, having fun, where you were 5, 10 years ago, perhaps even 15 years ago, that it wasn't a big rush to settle down. So guys that are looking for that light-hearted, fun sort of relationship, it's not that they're afraid of commitment, but it's just easier with a girl in their 20s. They're also usually in good shape and they look fantastic, and men are quite visual. So having that aspect is also attractive to them.
It's one of the most important things, like having beauty. So her second point was men are dating outside of their 30s and dates across 3 decades. We just said that, right? That's exactly what we just said when I was talking to sister Miss AKA lady. Dudes are moving in a different spectrum. And again, if they've done the work, they're top tier. This is when they get into the candy store. You know, Myron Gaines talks about the candy store. This is when dudes generally get into the candy store. And they're in there figuring it out. Women, they are born into the candy store. They can get in the candy store. They know what they want. They know what they don't want. They know what they love. They know what they hate. You know, they're getting in there and they just trying all the candy. They know. But the guys can't get in there, you know, until they get these things. And it takes time. Most of the dudes can't really get into the candy store until they get into their 30s, which is crazy. But in all the dudes, you know, there's dudes out there that will never get into the candy store. All women are allowed in the candy store. They don't have to pay. They're free. They get in there. Men got to work to get in there. Once they get in there, they go ham. They go crazy. So yeah, they're going to keep looking. Men love beauty. They're going to keep looking at it. They're just going to keep checking that out. Brother Penny in the house, man. What's good, fam? You know what I mean? I meant to double back to you, man. I got, you know, I got to get the dust off, man. I haven't been, you know, producing and doing the shows, so I'm going to be a little rusty. But Passport Bros and Sex Pass are two very different things. The manosphere needs to get better at making the distinction. You know, there never used to be a difference. But you're right. There has to be a distinction now, but there never used to be a distinction because most Americans never travel. And the Passport Bros to me are the bottom 80, the invisible guys, the invisible men, right? The Dusties, the Pookies, the Ray Rays, the whatever you want to call them, the Trevors, right? They go get a passport. They go someplace like Colombia or the DR, and because they have American money, they can go down there and they can get sexual access that they can only dream about here in America. And the thing is, if those dudes just worked on their game, they can get American women. They can get American women. It just takes work, but everybody wants a cheat code. But you're right. There needs to be more distinction placed on it. The whole Passport Bro movement, I mean, it hit like wildfire. And those guys went down there, and only thing that happened is these bubbles adjusted. And the Passport Bros went down there not being socially aware, not knowing how things work. They went down there and put everything on American currency. So now you go to these places and they're like, oh, it's cheap for me to go to Colombia and find somebody and, you know, spend a little money. And I'm going to have this girlfriend experience and blah, blah, blah. But now it's not cheap anymore. This is why I think you're not hearing anything about Passport Bros, because they went down there and they messed the game up. So now these guys, these brokies, these guys with no game, they come down there and these Colombian women, Dominican women, Cuban women, Brazilian women, Peruvian women, whatever. They're like, nah, you a brokey from America. You're going to have to pay me in US dollars. If you want to go out with me, I need $1,000 US. And the guys are like, well, I can't afford that. So I guess I better go back to America and be broke. That's what I think is going on. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Brother Penny is like, yeah, Sofia Varga is in her 50s. Still no wall. I think Dr. B is right in the sense that the wall has hit her. But it didn't hit her in her 30s for sure. A beautiful woman, and then she peaked on TV. She got all these people who love her, and even her in her 50s. You know, she's recently divorced, I believe. I think she's divorced. Correct me if I'm wrong. Heartbroken or whatever. But there's plenty of dudes that would love an opportunity to date her, to mess with her, and she's in her 50s, bro. In her 50s. You know what I mean? Miss AKA, they say, wait, is Trevor a Pookie? Yes, Trevor is. I just made that up. I was like, we got the Pookies and Ray Rays, obviously, black folks, but we got poor white boys out there. So we got Trevor out there. I was trying to think of another. Maybe I go with Adam. Trevor and Adam are out there, the trailer park white boys. Like they out there with they little, they got their little dollars, couple dollars, and they're gonna run down to the DR, run out to the Philippines, run over to Romania. Them dudes. I am the single one. I love the Passport Bros. They definitely travel for sex. They talk about it very openly on YouTube. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're getting sexual access. They're getting access to women, beautiful women that they can't access here in America. And they can't do it because they don't want to do the work. I mean, that's just the bottom line. They don't want to do the work. If they put in the work, they can get it. I know fat boys getting it. Broke boys getting it. You know what I mean? D boys getting it. Nerds getting it. If you put in the work, you can get it. Just put in the work. If you're a nerdy dude, and go to a con. Get you a creative costume and pay a little bit of money. Go to a Comic Con convention, someplace like in Tampa or someplace like smaller city. Don't go to the one in San Diego. Don't go to the Comic Con. Not right away. Start somewhere small. There's gonna be plenty of beautiful nerdy women in there dressed up too. And if they know what costume you're wearing, they're gonna talk to you. They're gonna be in your orbit. It's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. You can find yourself a girlfriend, but you gotta do a little work. Gotta do a little work. That's what it boils down to. Brother Lou Sophia Varga definitely looks like she's in her 50s. Yeah, she's a vintage lovely, but that's a fact. I mean, and that's what makeup on. When her makeup comes off, but she kept her body together. They tried to really make her look ugly in that Netflix movie she did about the drug kingpin, the female out of Colombia. What is her name? I can't think of her name. She wound up getting executed in Colombia after she had time in jail. What's her name? Brother Pitney will know. What is the name of the female queen pin that ran Miami during the cocaine cowboy days? Sophia Varga did her movie on Netflix. Not a bad movie. Not a bad movie at all. It's just they couldn't make Sophia Varga ugly enough to play this woman. Giselle something. What is her name? But anyway, this was the queen pin in Miami. Her name would come to me, guys. But the movie wasn't bad. It was on Netflix some months back. But yeah, they tried to make Sophia Varga look ugly, but they couldn't. Griselda Blanco. I think her name is Griselda Blanco. I think that's her name. Good movie if you haven't seen it. You should check it out. Here we go.
So they've got access to girls in their 20s. Clearly, they've got access to women that are in their 30s as well.
Facts.
So they can date girls in their 30s. This is not the problem, but a lot of them are choosing not to. And the other aspect is that they can also date women that are in their 40s. So men have got really 3 decades of women to choose from. And for a guy in his 30s, dating a woman in her 40s, or a friends with benefit, a cougar, whatever you might want to label that, for him, he doesn't have any of the pressures of dating a girl in their 20s who can often be a bit full of drama.
See, that's her getting mad at the young girls. The old women gonna be full. Everybody's full of drama. Women just love drama. That's who they are. The older guy can date whoever he wants to date. And if he's given a choice, he's going to date probably the younger woman. Not only is she beautiful, not only is it better if he wants to have kids, but she's going to come with less. Ideally, you know what I mean? She's going to come with less baggage. Ideally. That's not always the case, but and she's going to be more fun and more open, and you get to show her things. Andrew Tate was talking about this. It was Tristan Tate who was talking about it. Tristan Tate says he loves to have a woman like who doesn't know anything about the world, right? And I'll give you an example. They don't want women who are just stupid or whatever. No, they want to be the ones to be the first one to take them to a 5-star hotel or a 5-star restaurant. He's the first person to got her on a private jet or something like that. They want to be able to show experiences. He was telling a story how he met some woman from the middle of nowhere in Eastern Europe somewhere. And, she agreed to go with him to some city like London or Dubai or something like that. And she went, and he said she pulls out a hairdryer when she got to the hotel, pulls out this hairdryer because she'd never been to hotels before, and she wanted to make sure she could do her hair. It made sense to her, and he was like, "Yeah, this is a keeper. Right? This is a keeper. She doesn't know that you're gonna have these things at the hotel. The 5-star hotels has everything." So he was like, "Oh, this is a keeper." Like if you're taking a woman out, and let's say you go somewhere and you one of those guys who want to impress her, and you rent a Lamborghini or something like that. You've never been in a Lamborghini before. Lamborghini pulls up, and the girl she knows how to open a Lamborghini. She knows how to turn the car on. She knows how to change the transmission settings. She knows how to do all these things, right? And you met her working at Starbucks. How the hell she knows everything about this Lamborghini? And it's like, oh yeah, my daddy has a Lamborghini. I don't think so. You working at Starbucks, baby. I need to meet your dad, right? You messing with dudes who drive Lambos, right? Stuff like that. Like I remember I had this woman who was trying to impress me. She had a complex thing. She was trying to find a restaurant that I hadn't been to. And I forget what city I was living in at the time. And then she asked me about this restaurant, and I was like, I don't know. That doesn't sound familiar. She's like, okay, fine. I'm going to this restaurant. So we pull up to the restaurant. We got the car, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've been here. She was trying to get in. She didn't know how to get into the restaurant. And I was like, nah, it's over here. You got to come this way. And then she was mad the entire night. You told me you never been here. I didn't recognize the name. But I've been to most restaurants in this town, like at this level. I mean, I'm a foodie. I'm a real foodie. She wanted to be a foodie. So I'm like, nah, I've been here. Sorry you're not happy. And she was upset. Had to cut that one loose. Right. And again, that was someone who was closer to my age. Bring in drama. Right? Bring in drama. To your point, says, just bring in drama. So there it is. I knew Brother Penny would tell me. Griselda Blanco. Yep. That was her. If that Netflix show is still showing, check it out. It wasn't bad. Very sad tale of Griselda Blanco, but hey, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. That's how it works. You're like, but who was that woman? Blanche Devereaux. Who? Blanche Devereaux. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like, wouldn't want to marry her. Most men don't. You're just trying to have fun. The way dudes think is different than the way women think. And like, she just took a shot. This sister right here that we're watching, she just took a shot at the young girls out there, saying that they're full of drama. Nah, like the old women are full of. There was an old woman got mad at me. I'm telling you right now, she was older, mad at me because she couldn't find a restaurant I hadn't been to. Why do you even care? Why do you even care? So I never had a young woman do something like that to me. They do other things. But yeah, I'm certainly not going to try to date and marry a woman in her 20s and I'm in my 50s. I'm not doing that. I get a woman in her mid to late 30s is probably about as low as I'll go for a committed relationship. Now, some 20-something runs up to me, wants to have some fun. Of course, we can have some fun. We can take a trip. You know what I'm saying? I'll be your girlfriend for the weekend. We could take a girls trip. Hey, y'all. And, we could do all kind of nasty stuff. And I'll pay for the hotel room and the experiences, which is what they're looking for. That's not a problem. I think that's an equal value exchange. I get what I want. She gets what she wants. And it's not just the sex, y'all. I got a beautiful woman on my arm. I get to show her things. I get to teach her things, which I love. Right. And she get to introduce her to people. It's like, oh, and because I got this beautiful woman with me, I'm getting access to places that I like to go. And it helps my clout. It helps my status. I show up with her. Boom. I'm right in. Ain't no waiting. Got a table, comping us a bottle. You know what I mean? We're going to have dinner somewhere. They're going to give us free dessert. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Get a bottle of wine. It's just, there's value in that type of beauty. Believe it or not. If you want to accept it or not, there is. And it makes it, like I said, it's a value exchange. Especially if she's not giving you any drama and she knows how to handle herself and she's not embarrassing. This is perfect.
And can be a little bit more needy and emotionally needy and a little bit more demanding. The girl in her 30s, they want to fast track everything and move things along quickly. So there's a lot of pressure there. But a lady that's in her 40s that's potentially not wanting to have children or has already been married, divorced, has children, it's a very easy place for a man to be because there's usually little drama. She's not demanding of his time. They're usually matched in the libido department as well. So you have men that have got access to women that are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. And so, ladies, you do actually have opportunity to do exactly the same thing. I think there's a lot of women in their 30s when it comes to choosing a partner and considering a long-term relationship. You might consider someone that's a little bit older, but you've got to remember that a lot of men in their 40s actually already have children. There's a range of them that don't, but a lot of them do.
They already have children and they're top tier guys, so it doesn't matter. It's the same problem. 20s, 30s, 40s, it doesn't matter. If you're dealing with a top tier dude, you're dealing with a top tier dude. You got to add value. So her last point is women all compete for men in their 30s without exploring their options. It's not that they're competing for all men in their 30s. I just got to keep hammering this home. They're competing for top tier men in their 30s and in their 40s and in their 20s. If she's in her 30s, real talk, she might want to holler at the dude in his 50s, late 40s, early 50s. She might want to find that, even he is top tier, but at least he's not, find a guy who's just not out to just smash. There's still a lot of dudes like to smash, bro. That's all they want to do. That's it. That's it. That's what drives them. They just want to conquer the booty. That's it. They just want to hit. Bang, 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 bang. That's all they want, right? And ladies, that's the game. You have to be able to filter those guys out, move accordingly, and find the ones that are going to be good for you. You have to be able to do that on your own. You get caught up by one of these dudes, you get caught up by an F-boy when you're in your 20s and an F-boy in your 30s, guess what? You like F-boys. That's what you're looking for, right? That's what you're looking for. There was on the party bus this weekend down in the Fresh and Fit yacht party. We're on the party bus, and I'm talking to this woman, this Colombian woman living in America. Beautiful woman. She was older. Probably I think she was in her 30s, early 30s, either really late 20s, early 30s. Talking to her. She knew she was older. She knew she was competing with these young girls who were on the bus. It was a bus load of these younger 20-somethings. And she's sitting there telling me how she doesn't mess with any men. Miami men are trash. All men are terrible, blah, blah, blah. Y'all have heard this. You've heard this a million times. Blah, blah, blah. She's saying all this stuff, right? And I'm listening to her, and then one of the young guys was like, yo, that's Uncle Saint. He's old. You know how old he is? And she looks at me. I'm like, go ahead and guess. Baby, you're not going to hurt my feelings. She was like, I'm thinking like maybe you're in your 40s, like maybe 42 or something, 40. And I was like, no, I'm in my 50s. She's like, wow. Right? She literally said, wow. You know what I mean? And I'm talking to her. I'm using my broken Spanish and having fun and asking her how to say stuff in Spanish. And, it's cool. And, right. And she's like, nope, I'm done with men. I'm done with these guys. I just want, she's like, I just want someone that's going to want to settle down and marry me. Like, how do I do that? And I'm like, well, baby, if you're really looking for a dude to marry you, you are literally on the wrong bus. How about that? Right? You sitting here talking about, I'm looking for a man who's going to be committed to me and monogamous to me and marry me. Like, this is the Fresh and Fit party bus. Girl.
Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we got a problem. Like, why are you on this bus? Long story boring. 3 hours later, I see her making out with an F-boy on the same bus. We're on our way to the after party. So it's like only a third of us on the bus now. Like, we done lost 2/3 of the bus. Everybody done went whatever. And here she is, her and her buddy on the party bus, making out with two guys, two F-boys, part of the team, and everybody's hands are going everywhere, right down the party bus. And this is why dudes don't take women serious when they say shit like that. This is why. Now, of course, I could be in church. I've been around church women saying the exact same thing that this woman was saying. Now, we weren't on a party bus, but I would see that woman 2 or 3 weeks later in somebody's house party, and she's off, doing her thing with some dudes. Like, she's leading some dude. She's gonna grab some dude's hand, walking him back into the guest room, and they're gonna be back there for the next 45 minutes. What are they doing? Playing chess? I think not. You want the yacht party tea? I mean, we could talk about that. Look, I am a single one calling me Uncle Saint. We could talk about that if you want the tea. I don't know how to gossip, so you just have to ask me questions. We'll save it for the end of the show. Whatever you want to know. It was a great time. It was outstanding. You know what? As a matter of fact, Abba and Preach put out a hit piece on the like a 12-minute hit piece on what was going on the boat. I'm gonna react to that. So we could talk about it tomorrow, love. If you're free, we can do it tomorrow at 5:00. We can talk about it. But We could definitely we'll talk about it. Yeah, I'll give you all the tea you want. We'll show the video, we'll the Aberrant Preach video, and you can see what they're showing, what they cut together, and I can tell you exactly what was going on because I was on the boat and them two dudes weren't. But let's finish up with number 3 here.
And I don't know about your own individual preferences, but I can tell you as a matchmaker for nearly 3 decades, most women, the majority of women that are in their 30s prefer not to meet a man that's already got kids. You'll hear the comments like, but I want to be the first. I don't want to, meet somebody that's already got kids because, I want to have that special experience with a man. So I don't kind of want to meet somebody that's got kids. That makes a lot of sense. So it does rule out a lot of men in their 40s. The other thing is that you're going to have men in their late 40s, and this is a growing group of men that are available that a lot of girls in their 30s are overlooking. And this is a group of men that were in their 30s and weren't in a rush to settle down. They weren't in a rush to have a family and to get married, and they get to their 40s, they're still having a great time because, they can date women in their 40s and women in their 30s. But there comes a time where once a man gets to about 45, and if he hasn't had children, he starts thinking, oh gosh, okay, so what if I don't have kids? And even though
guys think about that long before they hit their 40s. And, that bitch she was saying where you got women in their 30s who are childless, don't want to date men who already have kids. That may be the case. I don't know how many women I've lost opportunities with because I'm a single dad. I don't know. And frankly, I don't care. I mean, it's just, you try to holler at them, you tell them they got a kid, they float away. That's fine. But you don't even notice it because you're already hollering at somebody else. I'm pretty sure they're out there, but who is that hurting? That's going to hurt the woman in the long run. You want to have, if you're going to have kids, you really want to have those kids as soon as you can. So waiting until your 30s is tough. And then you're dealing with dudes who got their shit together and having fun. They're not really trying to have a kid unless you guys were together when y'all were younger and y'all decided to wait till later. I don't know. I think it's tough. I think it's really tough for women who chase the bag, chase the career. They get into their 30s. They still look good. They kept their body up and everything, but they're having a hard time competing because society and feminism told them if they get all this money, if they get all this clout, if they get their careers in order, there's going to be a bunch of men waiting for them at the finish line. That's not true. If men do those things, there are a bunch of women at the finish line waiting on him. Absolutely. Absolutely. Rich Cooper says that all the time. Women don't build anymore. They wait at the finish line and they smash the winners. Why wouldn't you? If you fine enough, right? If you're fit and feminine enough, you can pull that off. But if you're a boss babe, you're out one of these, trashy modern day women, you can wait at the finish line if you want. You can, get knocked off by one of those dudes, but he's not going to commit. He's not going to commit. And that's so difficult for a lot of these women to understand. Not to understand, but to accept.
he loves his bachelor lifestyle, don't get me wrong. It's a very hard thing to give up for a lot of guys. There will come a time often in a man's life when he gets to that 45 to 50 age bracket where all of a sudden becomes super important, about as important it is to a woman in that same age group, but a decade before. So women, this is an age group that you can really consider that's above 45 that doesn't have kids of his own, because you're going to be at that exact same place on the road of wanting to make that commitment. So you won't have to do all those awkward conversations of, sort of what's the time frame that you might want to have kids. There's also other advantages to that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a thing. If a dude is 45 to 50 who's never had kids before, I don't think he's trying to have kids at that point. Now, and if he does want to have kids, again, he's not going to go after a 30-something. He's definitely going to go after a woman in her 20s because he's doing the math. It's like, I'm already 50 years old. If I have a kid, I want at least mom, my wife, the mother of my children, to be around because I'm not gonna. Dude's got 30 years, 35 years, tops, 40 tops, right? Even with modern medicine. Right. And then of that, how many years of that is going to be active where he can like do stuff with the kids and run around? So if he's going to have children that late, he's definitely going to want a woman who's way younger that can be there for the children. So the 30 years old is kind of like, and, it's harder for women in their 30s to have, kids. They might be complications, right? If he's trying to have a kid, he wants to make sure those are sure shots. Them babies are coming. So you're going to want to go younger. And again, I know a lot of people like, man, that's just not fair. Oh, which one me tell you? Of course it ain't fair. That's life. Life ain't fair. That's how it should work. Don't hate the player, hate the game. So shout out to her. And I'm not sure. I'm gonna put the video in the description below if you guys are watching Team Replay. The name of the podcast is The Dating Report. The Dating Report. She has about 874 subscribers. So let me subscribe. Help her get her numbers up. I think she's from Australia. And so now she has 875 subscribers, I guess. Now that I've done that. So yeah, you guys check it out. Her information wasn't, and again, this was old. This was from like 2020. Her information wasn't horrible, but to me, it's just like, you're missing a whole lot. I mean, ladies, y'all can get a man. Quit holding out for the man of your dreams. So I want to show one more video. I had two more lined up. I want to show one more video, and then I can wrap this up. And this will be from Michael Certain, Michael Certain's podcast. Shout out to him. Shout out to Rollo Tomasi. Let's get them a Don DeMarco. Hopefully one day I'll bump into these brothers. Don DeMarco. So this was a quick conversation they were having. And they were reacting to a clip from Professor Galloway. And let's see, the title of this video is "This is What Wealthy People Don't Tell You About Marriage." And this Professor Scott Galloway is who they're going to be reacting to. Here we go. There we go. My bad, guys. I'm struggling with my producer duties, y'all. Just let me brush the dust off. That's why I don't even know what buttons to push anymore, to be honest with you. Like sitting around here, what buttons? I'm going to get better. I'm going to get back up to speed. But let's check this video out. And I think they made some really good points.
Yeah. Beautiful. You want to do this one?
Yeah, let's do this.
The
majority of really wealthy people have long-term relationships and are in a monogamous relationship. They're married because the team is a fantastic way to build wealth.
But if the stats are true and whatever percent of people are getting divorces, doesn't that mean that if I'm building wealth, there's a 50-odd% chance that I'm going to lose half of it if I'm married or more?
Well, first off, if you have wealth going in, get a prenup. But what I would say is, and first off, that number is a bit misleading because marriage is becoming a luxury item. It used to be 95% of wealthy people got married and 85% of middle class and poor people got married. It's dropped to less than half among poor people. The bottom line is no one wants to mate with poor men. And
did you hear that? No one wants to mate with poor men. Right? And he was talking about the teen concept behind marriage. Bro, we are going into a recession. A lot of people say the recession has been here. There's not a lot of road to kick the can down anymore. Like, the defecation is about to hit the oscillator for real. Layoffs and job firings are up. Like unemployment numbers are up. Corporations are still cutting back. There's, you look at prices like, inflation is down, but pricing is up. So it's like their spending power is going way down. Americans are maxed out when it comes to work. Things are getting bad, right? It's about to get a lot worse, I think, over the next 6 to 8 months. And then it's going to be bad, I think, for a total of 18 months or so, maybe even 2 years, 24 months. But anyway, I believe going into these turbulent times financially, people are going to start getting together. Women are going to be like, hold on. I ain't got time to be broke. I ain't got time to be living in my car. There's tons of videos out there right now of OF girls. The money is dried up, and they're living in their cars with their kids. They can't afford to get an apartment. They're trying to rent like motels and stuff like that. And they're, guys aren't simping. Guys aren't sending in the simpleton money. Why? Because they don't have it. These guys are losing their jobs. Everyone I know, anecdotally speaking, has a main career. They got a main job. They got a part-time job, and most of them got a side hustle. It's getting tough out here. So imagine that. You got a full-time job. That's where you're getting your benefits from. You're doing all your stuff. And then you lose that job. You get laid off. So now your part-time job becomes your main source of income. And you're trying to get more hours. And it's a rat race. And now your side hustles become your part-time job. And you're trying to, invest in yourself and do this while still trying to pay the rent, while still trying to pay for your car note, still trying to pay your mortgage, still trying to pay insurance. I mean, I don't know where you guys, but here, where you guys are at, but here in Florida, insurance is destroying the state. The condo market is in a lot of trouble down here because people can't afford assessments that are being made on the properties, and they're getting hit in some cases with up to 6-figure assessments on their condos that have to walk away. I think the average assessment down here might be between $20,000 and $40,000, but that's a lot of money for retirees to try to come up with. And people come down here to get these condos. They've mapped out their retirement, and this is, we got enough money to live, and all of a sudden insurance goes up. My car insurance have gone up so much, I got to start looking for another insurance. My car insurance has gone up about 70%. I just happened to look at it. I'm like, whoa, what is this? Why am I paying so much money? So you look, and then you start looking at people with the average car note and insurance. They're paying close to $1,000 for just the average car note on a car. The average new car these days is like $60,000, right? So you're getting these cars, and then you have to insure these cars. You're looking at $1,000 just between your car and your insurance. And then you look at your mortgage or your rent. The average rent down here in Tampa is right around $2,000. That's $3,000 before you buy any gas, before you buy any clothing, before you buy any food. Right. And again, the average American is making about $65,000 to $72,000 a year. I think that's the average. I'm not sure if that's the median or average. From 2022 numbers down here in Florida was $68,230 was the median household income. So why am I talking about all this? Well, it's a long way around to what Professor Galloway was just saying here. It takes a team. So I think women are going to be forced to stop chasing the top tier guy. Like, I ain't got time for that because I'm going to wind up homeless. Let me get a guy, a regular guy. Let's team up. Right now, instead of paying for 2 apartments, we're paying for 1. We're going to split everything in half. Let me get in here. She could be with this guy. He's getting what he wants. He's getting access to a woman, sexual access, and all that kind of stuff. He gets a girlfriend. He's happy. And she gets an opportunity to stack some money. She gets an opportunity to rethink her situation. And who knows, at the end of it, she might realize that, I really love this dude. Women fall in love differently than men. So a woman could get with a guy in a situation going in like, I don't really seem like that. But after 6 months or so, a year, like, I love this guy, which is a good thing, especially if the guy is true and he takes care of her. It could happen. So I think a lot of women are going to be looking to get into relationships so they can save money and stack up their savings or they're going to move back in with their parents. But it is really difficult right now. And Brother Jack is telling me to hit State Farm. I'm gonna hit him up, bro. I'm gonna hit State Farm up. I'm gonna hit Progressive up. I'm gonna hit him up because, man, my insurance, it's just me. I don't even drive anywhere. Like my daughter's high school is just down the street. Like bro, we could walk to the high school. It'd be a good little hike, but we could do it. I mean, her school can't be no more than 5 miles away. I don't think it's that far. I think it's right at 5. It might right at 5 miles or something like that. So I don't drive. I don't go anywhere. I go to get her and I take her to her mom's. That's it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I might have to get in good hands with Allstate my damn self, bro. Get these numbers down. So, but yeah, I think women are going to be looking to get with guys and move in. And like I say, people are like, well, sounds like she's just doing it out of survival instinct. She don't really love the guy. I don't care why she did it, but it might work out. Let's continue.
And wealthy people attract a lot of mates. And generally speaking, really wealthy people, I mean, there's all this, it's fun to do TikToks about Jeff Bezos on a yacht with his new girlfriend and everything. But the majority of wealthy people are actually stay married. And the team is really powerful. We're both working together. We're both making a lot of money. That is really powerful in sharing one set of expenses. You're going to focus on the logistics of our life or our family, and my wife's the professional baller, right? The team is powerful. So this notion that you shouldn't get married, or I'm not suggesting that marriage is for anybody or stay married no matter what. I'm not suggesting that at all, but there's just no getting around it. The team is much more powerful than the individual. And if you break down the numbers of people who are wealthy, they generally speaking invest a lot in their relationships. Wealth is a whole person project. There's a myth that rich people are bad people. The Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, the billionaires crawled over other people to get there. It's just not true. What you generally find among wealthy people, especially people who've made their own money, one of the reasons they're wealthy is they've collected allies along the way. And just as compounding is so powerful with small investments when you're young, bringing some generosity to people when they need help, being a good friend, occasionally checking in, how are you doing, helping people find jobs when they lose a job, being kind, those little investments you make as a young person really add up.
Yeah, this is great. So I think he was spot on, especially with the team. Especially with the team. That's the one thing that'll perk my interest. If I meet a woman and she's just really down to earth, she's team player, and, you know, she's like, look, I really dig you. I will follow you anywhere. You know, she's adding value. She's not embarrassing me. She's making the right calls. I can trust her. Like, you go through the vetting process. It's like, yeah, that's what I would want. Man, later for the sex, I mean, you can get that anywhere. Later for the party girl attitude, you can get that anywhere. Later for just having a beautiful girl in your arm, again, you can get that anywhere. But you get a woman who can do all those things, add value, that makes sense, that's right there, that has your back, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's a ride or die for real. And yeah, you definitely want to be with someone like that. That'll free up a lot of money so you guys can kind of grow whatever it is you're going to grow, whatever it is you're going to do. And she's like, yes, how do you want to proceed? As opposed to do what I say. There's a lot of guys who get with women and they got to be in charge. Their mama was in charge. Their grandma was in charge. They got to be in charge. And a lot of times, you know, they fuck it up. So as a guy, you definitely want to have the ability to lead. And if you have the ability to lead and she's into you, she will follow you. She will follow you. I've seen women follow guys to their detriment. They will follow you. If they love you, they'll follow you. So it is what it is. Player 1258 was good, man. Welcome. Like, I'd have to disagree a little, OG. I got female cousins. They are building up with female roommates or staying with their parents. This is all by design. Yep. And I did mention that real quick. I said a lot of them, if they could do this, or they'll move back home. The thing with women being roommates, if they're family, that's cool. Like, if they got real family ties, like they came up together, but it's a lot of fighting. It's a lot of fighting. If they can get past that, that's cool. But you're right. You say it's all by design. I think that's terrible. That absolute refusal to find you a good guy. You like only want the absolute best dude. That's a bad thing, bro. That's a bad thing. The Black Rocks and the Vanguards don't want us owning anything. And that's a fact. That's a fact. You look at now, like the average home in America is what, $400,000, I think, right now. Where are interest rates right now? Miss AKA lady, if you're still here, where, you know, what's today's interest rate right now? Somewhere probably between what, 5.5 and 7 3/4, I'm guessing, somewhere in that rate. I haven't even looked. So, in prices, at least here in Central Florida, aren't dropping down. I'm seeing listings come down a little bit, but home prices are still up there. And who can afford finance? Who's going to be able to afford to finance $375 up to $500,000 at 7% or wherever the interest rates are right now? So you're right, bro. Player 1258, welcome, man. Good to see you, fam. But you're right, and it could be by design. It's like, and he's and player 1258 saying they're choosing female roommates, though before they got a boyfriend to help with what I'm specifically saying. Right. Instead of, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So instead of, okay, we're going into turbulent times, instead of going ahead and say, let me get a boyfriend, let me do it this way, they're choosing to go with girlfriends and go with family, purposely staying away from the guys. Wow. That's going to be tough. If you're correct, and I'm not challenging you, that makes sense to me. If that is a thing moving forward, this recession really is going to hurt. And I think it's going to hurt women more than it's going to hurt men, because these dudes are going to go out here and they're just going to power up and go work. They're going to go and just work. Like when I was young, I was working 2 full-time jobs. I had 2 full-time jobs, 1 part-time job, and a side hustle. So I was out there getting it. I was working about close to 20 hours a day on some days. Come home, get that little 4 hours of sleep or whatever, bro, and I'll be out there getting it. I was a young man, so it was just, I was wasting the money that I was earning. Instead of putting money in real estate, instead of putting money in myself, reinvesting in myself, I was just blowing the money on whatever. And now, especially with the Mano Swamp, especially with platforms like Fresh and Fit, with what we're watching here with Rollo Tomasi and Michael Certain, guys are learning to invest in themselves. Guys are like, you know what? I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna stack this money. I'm gonna go buy myself a 4-plex, right? And I'm gonna live in that for a year, and then I'm gonna go buy another 4-plex, and I'm gonna live in that for a year, and then I'm gonna go and make a move and buy whatever. This is what guys are thinking now. So if women aren't trying to be tied down and be with dudes, because I think it's, it makes sense if you're with someone, y'all in a committed relationship, y'all want to do that, that's fine. But man, it's hard to live with women these days too, because of all of the false allegations, and then law enforcement and the government getting involved in your affairs in the house. Yeah, that's kind of dangerous, bro. It's kind of dangerous, because historically speaking, whenever there's a recession, women and dudes would get together and they would ride out that recession. The women were planning to stack money. On the other side of the recession, they would kind of monkey branch to the next guy. But if women aren't doing that now, and guys are, consuming this type of content, and they're working and putting money away and buying property, oh boy, we'll see how this works out. I think it should work out pretty good for dudes. Not quite sure how that's going to work out for women, especially if they're all looking for the top tier dudes. But that's something to definitely think about. I'm gonna do some research on that, man. I appreciate you, player 1258. You got me thinking now. I appreciate you. Home button. Appreciate you. Let's get back to the video. Let's listen with Rollo and Michael Certain, and that's Sterling Cooper, former adult film actor, at the table as well. Let's continue.
Professor Galloway, I'm a big fan of his. And one of the things he talks about here, there's a couple of things, a lot to unpack. I teach a networking course. Collecting people along the way is absolutely true. I try to do as many favors as I can for people and ask for nothing in return. And if I care about somebody, I try to solve problems for them. But the other part that I noticed that I really enjoyed is he's one of the people, he's probably the lead guy to crying that there's a crisis in dating. And he says, nobody wants to marry broke men. It really is true. It's like, as women get access to more men that they can see on social media and on dating apps, they start to select for this smaller and smaller group of men up here at the top. And then broke men become less and less desirable. And there was another study I saw where they were going over what is the most likely outcome, what is the most likely symptom to cause a man to not have sex in the last year. And one of the highest precipitators of that was a man being unemployed or underemployed, which means hypergamy is real. When men don't make that much money, it doesn't mean that poor men don't. We all know a guy who's a male stripper who sleeps on the couch, who fucks a bunch of girls. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. What I am saying, though, is like, in general, if you want to talk about things that cause women to like not be interested in men, it's like when they can't afford anything. And as more women get to see images of these hyper successful men, they become even less interested in those men at the bottom. And
He ain't lying. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. This is the game. I don't have a problem with that. Like, if this is where it gets crazy, right? This is why women are, the hypergamy thing. Like, I'm gonna date a guy at my level or higher, right? Because I want to be able to do things. I want to have experiences. Y'all saw me talking to one of my homeboys. We were talking about air traffic, and he was talking about how much money he's on track to make this year. I mean, that's great. When I was in air traffic, we were making that kind of bread. 200 plus. Well into the 6 figures. We can do things. Once I retired, man, I stopped. So there are a lot of women who wouldn't mess with me now because I'm only making a fraction of the money that I was making when I was an air traffic controller. Right? We can't afford to go out 3 times a week. I can't afford to take you, to London or to take you to Japan. I can't afford that. That in order for me to do that, I'm gonna have to go back to work. Right? I can't afford to, for myself, even I can't afford to go out to my tailor and buy 4 or 5 suits. I just can't afford to do it. I just priority shift. I have a child, right? Yeah, I moved. I'm in a cheaper place, a cheaper cost of living area, but still, stuff still costs, and cost of living was going up around the country. So, right, that doesn't mean that I'm not getting anything. Like, as far as sex goes, even when I was broke at my peak, when I was out there womanizing, I was broke. That's the least amount of money I ever made in my life, but I had the most amount of women because I was gamed up. So it's like you said, you all know, like he used the example, Michael Sartain used the example of the stripper guy who's sleeping on his buddy's sofa. All right, cool. I was never a stripper dude, but we was out in the streets and we were doing our thing, and I had plenty of women that did not need money to have women, didn't need it. Like I said, it was a plus. The more money you had, the better off it was. And I mean, even if you're a brokey, you can get with a girl. She's going to let you smash, but eventually she's going to want to do things. Hey, can you take me to this restaurant? I've been hearing about this restaurant. Hey, can we take a trip to this place? I want to go to this. Can we go to Vegas? My friend so-and-so go to Vegas. Like, I ain't got money for all that. She's going to leave you for the guy who can take her on to do those things. She might like you. She might really want to kick it with you. She loves watching movies with you and talking Star Wars. But at the end of the day, she wants to do shit too. So it's like, man, I don't love you like that, man. So, and I'm not paying. There's so many women out there who could afford to pay for everything, but they won't. And we've had that conversation on this platform. I've asked multiple women. That's one of the questions I ask all women who jump on this on this podcast when I interview them. I say, hey, let's say that you're making $500,000 a year. Money is no problem. Like, you own properties outright, you own your vehicles outright, you have a really strong financial portfolio, everything's doing well. You find a guy of your dreams. He's everything you want, except he doesn't earn money. He's making the average amount of money for an American. He's making it right around, $45,000, $50,000 a year, right? But he has everything else. Would you marry that guy? Would you, let him into your life, just kind of take care of that guy? And they said no. I have yet to talk to a woman that's like, yeah, I can do that. Most of them will say, well, I'll do that for a little bit, but then you just have to step it up and get together. I'm like, no, this is it. He's going to make $50,000. He's going to keep driving a bus or driving a cab or doing Uber, whatever he's doing. But he does everything else. He loves you. He protects you. He's a big guy. He's handsome. He's correct, charismatic. And she's like, nah, I can't do that. I can't. I'm not going to take care of a man. So like, okay. Right. Okay. There goes your happiness, right? There goes your happiness. Base Oracle's in the building. What's good, fam? They pay for the right guys, indeed, but they don't pay for them indefinitely, my brother. They don't pay for them indefinitely. Brother Pablo's in the building. What's good, man? Man, I know you up there in San Fran, bro. LA got shook up pretty good yesterday, man. A 4.4 earthquake down there. 4.4. Wow, that's pretty big, man. Shook it up pretty good. To my knowledge, no one was hurt. But Brother Pablo's up there in San Fran. I don't think the Tremors went that far north. But it's good to see you guys. He was like, why you guys got a Tinder swindle on the first date? That's why you guys got a Tinder swindle on the first date. Yeah, man, that's game. They playing the game, you playing the game. It is what it is. If you just want to smash, you trying to hit, then that's what you're trying to do. But the moment she realized that you don't have the money that she believes you have, you don't have the resources, you don't have the clout, whatever, like, it's a wrap. If you're trying to date her for real, it's not going to work. If you're just trying to smash and get what you get out of the situation, like you're going to hang out with the baddie, whatever, yeah, you're going to get that. But again, the moment the woman asks you to do something for her, like, hey, I want to go here. Like, hey, let's go to Miami. My friends are going to Miami. I want to go to Miami. We're staying at the Mondrian Oriental, or we're staying at the JW Centric or whatever. That's not a great hotel, but whatever. We're going down here. We're staying at the W. We're staying at Satai. That's it. We're going to South Beach for a weekend. My friends are going down there. We're going to Satai. We're going to stay right there on South Beach. Let's go. Can you go? We need you to pay for it. Just the weekend. It's just the weekend. We're just going to fly down, stay at the Satai. I mean, you're looking at a $5,000 weekend or more, depending on the flight and, what kind of room you get at Satai. It's one of the best hotels in the country. And she's like, they're going, I just want to do it. And if you can't afford it, she can afford it, but you can't. And y'all go and she pays for the hotel and she's paying for dinner. Like, y'all at Satai, y'all flew down there. Y'all going to have dinner at Carbone's and you guys are eating at, Mamo's and, you know, you're doing all this other kind of stuff. You're going around partying, popping bottles. You're getting a boat. You're doing all that. That could be, depending on what type of boat and how much food and drink, that could be a $10,000 weekend. And she has to pay for all of it. You can't pay for nothing. And she ain't messing with you no more. That'll probably be the last time you see her, be honest with you. She's going to move on. But it's perfectly fine for a dude to pay for all that. It's almost expected. So, I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's like, and basically saying, to be fair, if you respect yourself, most women in America are undateable past a few days, weeks. We were talking about that early on. Today's woman is very trashy. She's very successful financially, a lot of that, but they're just out there wearing see-through stuff, twerking all the time, having sex with whoever they want to have sex with, posting it on social media. Look, my thing is this. That's just the game. If you want to go out there and be slutty, be slutty. I just suggest that you keep it in the closet, man. Keep all your dirt in the closet. Don't be posting it on social media, right? Because plausible deniability only works when there's no proof. You posting this stuff all over the interwebs, someone's going to see what you've been up to. And that is, man, it is just one of those things. But most of the women you meet, though, these days, especially in places like New York, places like Miami, Atlanta, LA, you know, they're cool to hang out with for a little while, but as soon as you start to really get to know them, you got to bounce. You got to bail. You know, it's just, especially for older people like me, it's just hard, man. These people are out here getting it. We were talking about how hard it is for older women, and it, like I said, it's hard for older people, period. As you get older, dating gets tougher because you're beyond just having fun. You're out here trying to figure out who you want to spend the rest of your life with, and those are tough decisions. But let's continue.
What he's talking about there. He says marriage is a luxury. And more than half of poor people now don't want to get married. And the marriage rate for women is at an all-time low.
Well, marriage rate for people in general is an all-time low.
Yeah.
Right now we're at 6.1 per 1,000. It's the lowest rate in recorded history for the United States.
They're also talking about like babies being like the lowest, like on
fertility
record
rate.
for the fertility rate, just because of the inflation and how much like everything is costing. Because it's like people are choosing like, hey, do I want to live or do I want to support a child?
Well,
I can't really see.
People are doing the two-income, no children.
It's not so much a financial decision because the fertility rate has been below replacement level in the United States since 1975. The time to bang the gong about this was back in the 70s when everybody was having a good old time at Studio 54. Okay, and the reason for that is because of one invention, which is hormonal birth control, which spiked the divorce rates and it separated men and women. It's technology killed marriage. It wasn't fucking feminism. It was technology. Okay. So moving into the 70s, what happens when women go get divorced? They're going to need to have bank accounts. They're going to need lines of credit. They're going to need to be like strong, independent women. Right. And so they become the men that they wanted to marry. And by the way, that's not a Rollo Tomassi line. That's a Gloria Steinem line from 1970. So this has been a.
So you guys have heard of Rollo Tomassi. There he is right there. Rollo is a married man, happily married. He has a daughter who has just completed college, I think. I think she's married. His wife only had one wife. You know, he's been doing this manosphere stuff forever. They call him the godfather of the manosphere, of the red pill. So a lot of these talking points come from Rollo. He's written a few books. Is most well known for The Rational Male. And that book is accredited for saving a lot of lives. A lot of guys read this book and they're like, okay, I get it. So he makes some great points. Rollo makes some really great points there. And yeah, we've been well below replacement rates. Our birth rates have been so low. We're, forever. Gloria Steinem saying that women have become the men that they want to marry. That's the thing. That's what we were talking about the first 2 hours of this whole podcast. Women in their 30s have become the guys that they want to marry, and they can't find him because they are him. The guys have to be so much better than they are. And there just aren't that many dudes out there. There just aren't. It is what it is. So the women have become the men that they want. They have become alpha. If you're going to be alpha, that means you're going to have to get a beta because two alphas don't go together. You're going to have to get a beta, and they don't want it.
around for quite some time. If we're going to talk about marriage rates, we're going to talk about fertility rates. They're all connected. They're all correlated together. And they all trace back to 1 year, 1965, which is when hormonal birth control became popularized at that time. Women no longer have to be married. So what happens? The divorce rate spikes for a little while, and then it falls off because the marriage rate is also falling off to the point where we are in 2024, which is at 6.1%. Now, I just celebrated my 28-year anniversary with my wife last week. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
And I will tell you right now, it's a lifestyle choice is what it is, okay? One of the things that I would strongly disagree with Scott Galloway and other people as well, mostly TradCons bring this up. They say, well, you go get married because you'll be richer. You'll be happier. No, happiness is a subjective, relative. You can't quantify happiness, and I really wish we should just throw this bullshit away about trying to make happiness a metric of the success of your fucking life. Because
he's got a point there. You know, it's really. I mean, if you're an unhappy person, you're not going to find happiness, especially by getting married. I mean, how many people out there, I mean, just anecdotally speaking, I've seen people who are having, in terrible relationships, and the guy was trying to get out the relationship. And then the woman was like, you know what? I know what'll make things better. I'll get pregnant, and they'll come off birth control, and they'll get pregnant, not tell the guy they're off birth control. Oh, look, we got pregnant. I wonder how that happened. And they're like, this baby is going to make everything just fine. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You're out there looking for happiness. Like, what is that? What is happiness? Like, when am I most happy? I'm most happy when I'm picking up my daughter from school. Like, when I see my daughter come around the corner to jump in the car, I can't stop smiling. That's when I'm most happy. She jumps in the car, like, how was your day? And she was like, it was okay. And, I'm as happy as I can be in that moment. So there are people who hate that same moment. Like, I hated waiting on my kids. And why? Because they didn't want the kid in the first place. There are people out there who hate coming home because they don't like their significant other, their legal wife or husband. They hate it. They go anywhere but home, men and women. He's right. You can't use happiness as some sort of matrix or a metric for success, because we don't know what that is. And then now you're going off of emotions. Like, I don't know when I'm going to be happy and when I'm going to be sad. Like, when my daughter's not in school, she's with her mom. Am I not happy because my daughter's not there? Like, I'm still happy. I can still go do some stuff, but I miss my daughter. I want my little girl with me, and she ain't little no more. She keep growing. My not so little girl, I should say. But she needs to be with her mom too. She has a family over there. But it's happiness is fleeting. You know what I mean? I was really happy on the past weekend down in Miami. That was a great time. It was great networking. It was cool. I wish we had a better caliber of woman. We just had the Instagram thoughts were there, and then we had just random chicks. Of course, they were just there for the free food and free drinks. I ain't mad at them, but they were looking good. They held up their end of the bargain. You know what I mean? All the women who showed up, they held up their end of the couch. They came in there, they dealt with it, they rolled with the punches. It was great. We had a good old time. But is that type of happiness going to carry me through my life? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So happiness is so fleeting. Rolo was right about that.
happiness is an emotion, and happiness is a proximate outcome, not an ultimate outcome. And that's why women are on antidepressants, because we've sold them for years and years and years that it's some sort of sustainable goal state, and at some point we're all going to be just optimally happy, and we'll never have any bad feelings ever come in on us ever again. Well, yeah, if you take SSRIs, I'm sure that's probably going to happen. So we have the medical way of.
I wonder if Scott Galloway is referring to marriage when he was growing up.
More
like that,
probably
like something closer.
But you have to be realistic about this shit, because we're talking about this. Like I've been writing about this since like the mid 2000s. Married people make more money because they have to make more money. Otherwise, they're not married anymore. The number one precipitator of divorce is a woman starts to make more money than the guy does. Maybe they start at parity, and then she gets an increase in pay, or she gets a promotion at work. That guy falls off, and now because she's around guys who make more money than their husband, and now they're told that they're supposed to be in some sort of egalitarian, equalitarian marriage where it's 50-50. Well, it's not 50-50. If she's here and he's down here, guess what? He falls off and she goes look at, because hypergamy kicks back in. And the problem with this is like we're still clinging to this old 20th century ideal of what we think marriage ought to be in the 20th.
He has a great point there. Now, Is he saying that all women will get rid of their dudes simply because their dude's not making as much as he is supposed to be making, or she's making more? All women are like that. We're not. I'm not saying that. I don't think Rollo Tomasi is saying that. All women are not like that. Are there a lot of women who are? Yes. Remember, I said that earlier before we even pulled this clip up. I've spoken to women who are very successful, homeowners doing good. We had Sister Mel on here, bartender, doing her thing. We was talking about that. She had a guy in her house that was just doing nothing. She had to kick him out. Now that guy was a deadbeat. She was right to get rid of him. But there are women who will have a guy. He's a good guy. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. He just isn't earning the kind of money that she's earning. They were on different tracks or whatever. So she's up here in her earnings and he's down here. And it doesn't matter if she's making 300,000 and he's making 100,000, he's going to have to go because she's around these powerful men. And again, the hypergamy thing kicks in. Now, are there women who don't care about that? It is what it is. She still loves her husband. She brings the money home. They all throw it in the same pot and they're living a great life and they're raising their kids. Yes, that does happen. However, there are a lot of women out there who will kick that guy to the curb in a heartbeat because he's not earning. It is a thing.
21st century dealing with these realities on a daily fucking basis. And so when people say, well, you're going to make more money, you're going to be more happy, you're not going to, it's like, no, you're making more money because you have to make more money. And if you don't make more money, you are officially not married. And so therefore unmarried divorced people are less happy and not making as much money because they're no longer married. That's why.
I feel like this goes way back to the beginning of our conversation when we were saying like people glamorize sex work, people glamorize marriage.
Oh yeah.
To the point where they're like, oh, I want the white picket fence. I want to like have a husband, have children, blah, blah, blah.
There's a little bit of that. I don't think they glamorize marriage as much as they glamorize the day. I think there are a lot of women out there and men who just want the wedding. They're not thinking about what comes after. They're not thinking about till death do you part. They're just thinking about this wedding. And the average marriage the average marriage is over before they even pay for the wedding. How about that? They're financing a wedding. It means $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 on a wedding. They get divorced, and that's part of the divorce proceedings. How we still got to pay for this wedding. I think that's where they get lost. They want to have their day, and I used to think it was just women. There's dudes out there too. I've come across a couple guys who wanted these elaborate weddings, and the wife, the girlfriend, or whatever, the fiance was like, I don't even need that. Like we can just go down to the courthouse. We can go to Vegas. Sign the papers. I don't need all that. Why are we going to spend all that money? How are we going to start our relationship in that kind of debt, right? So, and even in those cases, the woman don't even know that the guy is financing this thing. He's doing this, and he's thinking, I'm doing this for you. You're going to love it. And she's thinking, you're wasting money. And then that's the first fight. And a lot of times that's the fight that can never get past. It's like we're dealing with all this financial hardship because you decided to go out here and spend $100,000 on this wedding so you can ride up on a horse. Right. And we got fireworks and all this other kind of stuff. And you ain't even had the money. You had to finance that. Well, at the time, I thought it wouldn't be a problem. I was doing it for you, baby. And they're just like, there he is. They don't want to follow you no more. Like, we're broke. We're eating sardines and Spam because you decided to go out there and do this. Right. So I don't put that all on women. There are men out there to do the same thing. They make bad choices and they never get past that. And this is, again, one of those things. So I don't think it's the wedding. I don't think it's the relationship that they fixate on. They fixate on that day. They want the wedding. And they're not prepared for the relationship that follows.
Institution. Yeah. It's like definitely like you're raised to want that kind of lifestyle, right? That you're like white picket fence,
what your mom had, what your grandpa
family,
had,
home, like all that stuff.
I'd kind of disagree with that. I'd say that women are raised to glamorize. Like they look at marriage as not like a commitment and like a long-term relationship.
They want a wedding, not a marriage.
Bingo. They look at it as like the wedding is now.
There it is. Bam. Look, Uncle Saint still be up on it. Like they want the wedding, not the marriage. Bam. See?
All this like ego glorification ceremony for the woman.
It's
because it's got nothing to do with like the actual process of being in a relationship.
Or the sacrifices that she needs in order to stay in the wedding.
But Sterling, you're putting it in terms of like that's like a proximate goal. Okay, it's here and it's gone and it's done, right? In the ultimate sense, women marry a man. They don't marry the man; they marry a lifestyle. If that guy can provide a particular lifestyle that is better, or it's more glamorous, or has more prestige, or has something else, if that guy has a lifestyle that she wants to be his frame, right? If he wants to enter into his frame, that if they eventually, you know, they'll fall in love with the guy because not necessarily because of the lifestyle, but hopefully that's how
becomes fond.
But the
enough of
reason
him.
why they get married in the first place is because that guy can provide a lifestyle that she wants to participate in, and she wants to be.
And I agree with that. When they talk about frame and all that, a lot of people think, well, I got to be able to provide this multi-million-dollar lifestyle. I got to maintain the frame of this billionaire, da-da-da. It's up to the woman, bro. If you're a dude out there and you just about your shit, and you out there, you've been making $60,000 a year, and you've got yourself a house, you live in a low-cost living area or whatever, or maybe down here in Tampa, maybe down in Miami, maybe down in Broward or Dade County. You've managed to do well. You've managed to carve out your little piece of the universe, and you're a, you know, handsome guy. You know what you got going on. There's a woman out there who's like, you know what? I want to be with this guy. She doesn't need the yacht parties. She doesn't need the elaborate dinners. She doesn't need, you know, to be flying around in a private jet. She's like, I want to be with this man. I love this guy. I want what he's offering. That does happen. That does happen. Right. And again, all it takes is a little game, a little understanding. You see what's going on, you can make it happen. So, you know, what Rolo was talking about is correct. Yeah, if she's going to follow your frame, she's going to follow your frame, whatever that may be. You don't have it doesn't have to be billionaire or millionaire frame, right? You could just be regular guy frame, but you're a leader and she's digging you. It works that way.
Part of. I mean, there's so many variables in the intention for getting married and the outcome of marriage, you know, and a lot of it depends on where at in the country you live too. You know, each state has its own set of rules. It's like in California, a prenup or a post-nup or a QNUP trust or whatever.
Or even arranged marriages, like in other countries.
But in California, you know, if you're successful and you're marrying, you know, your kid's mom and you want to be a stay-at-home mom or whatever, you know, your prenup is only as good as her word of signing it. Because the attorney's smart, they're going to drain you out for all your money.
We really need to get you on.
California will, because you guys can pay 13% more in state income
saying,
taxes.
like, you can think you protect yourself all day long, and every state's different. But I know in California,
we need to get him on with James.
And, you know, we're going to end it there, but he's right about that, though. You got a lot of guys, again, are like, well, I'm going to get married because that's what you're supposed to do. I want to do this legit. Right. And once you do that, you're taking on some serious risk, especially if you have something to lose. So, you know, we'll talk about that too at another day. You know, getting married, bringing the state, you know, bring the government involved, bringing the government into your situation can be very bad. It can be, especially if you're the person with something. Like if you're the person that doesn't have, if you're talking about getting married to a woman and she's sitting on Oprah Winfrey money or she's sitting on Kelly Clarkson money or whatever, and she wants to bring you in and y'all get married, great. Go ahead and do it all day long. If she's making way more than you, if her net worth is higher than yours, she have more assets than you, all day long, get married. Get married. I don't care what state you in. Because if anything goes wrong, if she decides she wants to walk out of that situation, you're the one that makes less, and you're the one that they're going to take stuff from her and give it to you. It's up to you if you want to take it or not. So we'll talk about that at a later date. But yeah, man, we're going to leave it there. Dating later in life, guys, like I said, it doesn't get any easier. It doesn't get any easier. Just telling you the truth. It's already hard and it only gets harder as you go along. If you're a young out there, if you're a youngin' and you out there, you got a little game as a guy, and you know what you're doing, and you come across a good girl and she's grown into a good woman and y'all can build a life together, man, go ahead. If you young, it makes sense to get into a relationship. It makes sense. Don't go out here and get rotations and smash all these chicks unless you're ready for that life. If you ain't ready for that life, don't do it. There's guys out here like, well, I want to spin plates. Like, no, you don't. You want one woman. The vast majority of dudes that come up to me talking about they want to spin plates and talk about their little stories, they'll tell us stories and I'll sit there, just the two of us. I'm like, man, keep it 100, man. You don't like this. You don't like just going after random women and smashing them, do you? Tell the truth. And like, nah, I really don't, man. I just want to find myself one good woman. Like, that's cool. You can find one good woman. She's out there for you, bro. Just you have your understanding. You got your game. Verify, man, and vet her out. Once you see that she really is a good woman, then go ahead and be with her, bro. Go ahead and be with her. As far as the getting married by the state, I mean, that's something y'all gonna have to work out. That's, my man Jay Swans, he was like, hey man, it's a risk you got to take. It goes with the game, and you got the right woman, you treat her right and she treats you right. I think it's worth the risk. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But that's a decision that each individual has to make on their own. Just understand how the family court system works. Once you understand how the family court system works, and you can do whatever you want to do. I ain't mad. Just don't get mad if it don't work out for you. Right. But if you're young, you find yourself a good woman, or ladies, if you out there and you find yourself a good dude, a nerdy dude or whatever, he ain't a player, go ahead and try to make that work. The older you get, the harder it is to find that one. And that's a fact. We all got issues. We've all been through battles. We got scars. You can see some of my scars. We all got those scars. We've all been through it. The older you get, the more people you're going to come across with those issues. And that makes it hard. Dating gets harder as you get older. Women, I know it ain't fair, but it's really hard for y'all. Once y'all get into y'all 30s, for real, it really gets tough. Why? Because you want the best available. I ain't mad at you, but a lot of women don't qualify for the very best, and they refuse to quote unquote settle. When in fact, you're simply dealing with the guy who is at your level. Ladies, y'all need to find those men at your level who are good men and are good to you, and try to make that work. Let all this other stuff go. Forget about what you're seeing on social media. Forget about all the shorts and the memes and all that. Find yourself a good dude and add value to that good dude, and y'all should go ahead and just be together. Because I'm here to tell you, the top tier guy, all he got is dick and bubblegum, and he's fresh out of bubblegum. All you gonna get is that dick. All right. That may be kind of harsh, it may be kind of cruel, but I wanted to get it out there so y'all, you know what I'm saying, y'all understand what it is. You come across Uncle Saint out there and you having a bad day because your boyfriend told you couldn't do something, or your husband told you couldn't do something, and you run up on me, I'm gonna tell you, I'm all out of bubblegum. So you know what I got left. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I definitely enjoyed it. Appreciate you guys coming out. We're gonna keep doing this. We'll be back tomorrow at 5:00. Not quite sure what I'm gonna be talking about tomorrow at 5:00, but we're gonna be talking about something. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but we'll see. Look for the thumbnail. I'm DL Saint. This is I Really Want to Know podcast. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.